The winning continues in Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Matthew Alvarez here as we get ready for President Trump's cabinet meeting a little bit later today. And Director, if we could see the program on the monitor, that'd be great. As it's 10:01 Eastern time, a lot coming up here on the broadcast as we have a lot of obviously information that we're seeing from President Trump on Truth Social as well. A lot of messages by the Commander-in-Chief. And today, this is sort of an all-star cast of great patriots that you're going to see right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. A lot of great cabinet leaders, of course, and confirmed by President Trump that Doge's Elon Musk will be live there in the cabinet room as well during that cabinet meeting. So looking forward to all that coverage here as we are getting ready to go. I'm not sure what that the crane is doing there, but definitely a beautiful shot of the White House at 10:01 Eastern time. Again, those of you joining us on Truth Social, X, our website, and also on Rumble and on YouTube, thank you so much for streaming in live right now at 10:01 Eastern time. All right, so that cabinet meeting is slated to start at 11 a.m. Eastern time. President Trump confirms again that Doge's Elon Musk will be in attendance. Again, an all-star cast of patriots joining the president this morning. We're told later today that the president will sign more executive orders. As we saw yesterday, more on top of the 75 already signed during this first administration, or second administration, and looking forward to seeing more today a little bit later. In the meantime, let's go now to President Trump's Truth Social pages. You guys have seen a lot of information there when it comes to a lot of messages today. First, what we'll do is we're going to go back just a few days to some of the accomplishments that we've seen by the president with the team there with the economy. Signed an executive order on day one, ordering all executive departments and agencies to deliver emergency price relief to the American people and increase the prosperity for the American worker. That was just for the economy. Also, the border, he declared that national border emergency, allowing DOD to deploy several thousand troops to the border to secure it. And also, there are Doge accomplishments and energy accomplishments right now that we're seeing at the White House. So awesome to see that. Why don't we do this? We may be getting a live video from the Gulf of America, possibly. Because we know that this owner from the Gulf of America Outfitters store out of Venice, Louisiana, may be joining us today as he's getting the Starlink set up there. If all the feeds work out, we'll go to that. In the meantime, let's go to President Trump from just yesterday, some of the executive orders that he was signing. We're going to go to that for just a minute just to get a little update on it, and then we'll gather our information here and come back to you here live. So, Director, please let me know when we can go to President Trump from just yesterday with some of the executive orders, and we'll get kick-started here again live on Right Side Broadcasting Network as we wait for that cabinet meeting. So, Director, do we have that available? Okay, so working on that at this point, and we'll go to that. Just in case you missed it, it wasn't live on the channel just yesterday. We did upload it to Rumble and to YouTube, so we will show you some of that interaction here in just a minute. As we kind of reset here, we were planning on some live footage from the Gulf of America, and that was the first part of the broadcast. And of course, right now, looking like having some technical difficulties with that. So at this point, what we can do is we can go to possibly the president for the president's executive orders from yesterday. We also have Carolyn Levitt from the White House press briefing from yesterday giving us an update on the southern border. So, Director, where should we go at this point? Okay, all right, cool. Let's go to Colonial Metals Group, a great sponsor here at the network. As you see on your screen, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. If you're looking for a tax-sheltered IRA or 401k, you can definitely get that through Colonial Metals Group. Gold and silver, all great, obviously high-value things there with gold and silver. But also, you can go to that QR code for more information on that. So go to freegoldguide.com freegoldguide.com/RSBN, freegoldguide.com/RSBN. As we are at 10:05 Eastern. We can also go to republicanred.com. So a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Code is RSBN for a discount. Amazing various selections of wines there. Also, if you'd like, you can use that RSBN code. Again, a great percentage for the wines on your screen. So looking forward to seeing more sales at that great company at republicanred.com. Okay, let's go to an update on the southern border from just yesterday with Carolyn Levitt at the White House press briefing. We'll be able to share that information here with you in just a second as soon as that is also ready. Spoken about, of course, a bit earlier today as we get everything lined up here. Let's go to that right now with Carolyn Levitt at the White House.
Another important note that the American people entrusted President Trump to fulfill. This administration's efforts to seal the border continue to prove extraordinarily successful. In President Trump's first month back in office alone, illegal border crossings hit lows not seen in decades, down 94% over the past year, while interior arrests are up 134%. And this past Saturday, this is a significant statistic that I wanted to share with all of you. There were only 220 illegal border crossings on Saturday. This is a 15-year low. Think about that in comparison to the amount of illegal border crossings we saw under the previous administration.
All right, so Carolyn Levitt, of course, yesterday updating a lot of us on what's going on at the White House. I mean, great to see the White House press secretary doing an awesome job there and just informing us on what's happening throughout the country. Also, all of this brought to you by Tax Network USA. 800-357-1415 is the number. All you have to do is settle your back taxes today by calling that number if you have any back taxes. tnusa.com/RSBN is the number. 800-357-1415. Just all you have to do is give them a call and they'll help you out from there. So a great sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, tnusa.com/RSBN. All right, let's go to mybrightcore.com as well. Kimchi One, an awesome product, as you see on your screen there, for gut health, immune support, anti-aging properties. 888-722-0936. All you got to do is go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN for more information and to learn more about kimchi, this probiotic that will really help with gut health, immune support, anti-aging properties, and the like. So, yeah, looking forward to today's cabinet meeting. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this moment where this all-star cast of great people will be there around President Trump at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we have a bit of time together here as we get ready for that a little bit later. Also, we'll go to the executive orders that President Trump signed just yesterday to kind of reset our path here at the network and figure out some things when it comes to possible live footage that may come into the studio here in just a little bit. So also, once we get that directive, we'll go to President Trump from just yesterday at the White House, of course, signing more executive orders. And producer, you said it's ready? All right, let's go to that, and we'll be right back.
Biggest thing you can do for cutting prices, and it certainly is one of them. And it's been unpopular in some circles because people make less money, but it's great for the patient. It's great for the people in our country. Okay, it's not so good for pharmaceuticals. It's not so good for the companies that make the drugs. And I guess you could say it probably isn't so great for hospitals. But they say that if you have a great hospital that's really knows what they're doing, it's actually great for a hospital because everybody wants to go there. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Got it, Doug?
Thank you, sir.
Pulitzer Prize. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have for your attention another executive order. Copper is a critical material, and the supply of copper is vital to our national security. In recent years, we've dealt with a significant issue of the dumping of foreign copper into the American market. That significantly impacted the domestic production and manufacture of copper and copper materials. This executive order charges your Secretary of Commerce with starting the process to potentially impose tariffs or other trade barriers to prevent this ongoing dumping of copper and to protect the American manufacture and production of copper.
Will have a big impact. Howard, do you want to say something about that?
Do you mind if I read one of your
please.
truths?
Sure.
So this is a truth that's about to go out. Like our steel and aluminum industries, our great American copper industry has been decimated by global actors attacking our domestic production. To build back our copper industry, I have requested my Secretary of Commerce and USTR to study copper imports and end unfair trade putting Americans out of work. Tariffs will help rebuild back our American copper industry and strengthen our national defense. American industries depend on copper, and they should be made in America. No exemptions, no exceptions. America first creates American jobs and protects our national security. It's time for copper to come home. And if it's all right with you, if I can talk a little bit about the digital services tax, would that be all right?
Go ahead, do that.
So I read another truth. This is sort of so fun to read his words. It can't be any better. So our incredible United States economy and undeniable American spirit has enabled the creation of the greatest technology companies on earth. Our digital economy is bigger than most of the world's countries, and the market cap of even one of our companies exceeds every European country. Instead of empowering their workers and creating opportunities, foreign governments have instead tried to tax, fine, and hinder Americans' technology companies. Both friend and foe have been treating American tech companies harshly, as if our companies are their piggy bank. This will now end. It is my objective to level the playing field and end these attacks. We are putting these countries on notice to end their unfair treatment of American companies, large and small. Our companies are the greatest investors in the world. So our tech companies are the greatest investors in the world, and their investments will go only to where American companies are treated fairly. Our ingenuity, grit, drive, and perseverance have built America. If these countries want to participate in the AI industrial revolution, it's time to choose sides with America, not against us. And we signed that on Friday, sir.
Okay, very big deal, right?
Huge.
Thank you. All right, and that's a very big one that Howard just read, but they're both big. They're all big. We're only doing big ones. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, is that the culmination of ongoing conversations that you've had with your counterparts, this particular executive order?
Which one, last or?
The one that the
No,
Congress Secretary
the digital tax is taking place all over Europe. They're taxing us, and they're doing other things. They're suing all our companies. And if that's going to happen, we want to be the ones that sue, not them. And they use it almost as a form of running European countries, and the EU in particular has been very violent in its lawsuits against our companies, and frankly, very violent and very bad to our airlines. I've gotten calls from the heads of airlines saying they stop in Europe and they're getting charged all sorts of taxes that they never even heard of. They stop and they're getting fined and charged, and they do it only with American companies. They're not doing it to other countries, so we're stopping it. And we have another thing, we have another step to go, and if they don't shape up, as an example, Apple has had to pay like $17 billion in a lawsuit that nobody thought was worth anything. And I won't get into the judge or the decision or how the decision was arrived, but I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I think it's disgraceful. And Google's being sued, Facebook's being sued, and many others are being sued by their so-called government, if you call it a government, EU. And they don't treat us right. They don't treat us right as a country. So we're going to protect our companies. We have to protect our companies. So we're not going to have any companies left anymore. I also want to thank Apple, though, for announcing they're going to invest $500 billion in our country. That's the biggest investment anybody's probably made to this date. And they're going to do it very quickly, and that's because of tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and they feel very strongly about the country. Now, they wouldn't have done it without us. Without the Trump administration, they wouldn't have done it. But they feel very strongly about the direction of the country. The polls have shown that, too. The polls are coming out showing the direction of the company is of the country is the best they've ever seen, actually. Best they've ever seen. So I just want to thank Tim Cook and Apple for the confidence. $500 billion. That's the biggest investment anyone has made in a short period of time.
Mr. President, have you spoken today with the House Republican holdouts who
Yeah.
said they would not be supporting the budget resolution?
Well, I'm not involved in that. They know what I want, and the Senate knows what I want, too. And the Senate's got a bill that's very strong, having to do with the taxes, because the taxes is what's bringing all these companies in. So, and without it, by the way, you'd have to double your own taxes. Everybody would be doubled up, and you'd have the biggest tax increase ever. So the House has a bill and the Senate has a bill, and I'm looking at them both, and I'll make decisions. But I don't know where they are in the vote. I know the Senate's doing very well, and the House is doing very well. But each one of them has things that I like. So we'll see if we can come together.
Mr. President, can you clarify, hopefully once and for all, what your expectations are with this email to federal employees? What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also if you don't answer, I guess you get fired. What it really
I'm
is,
still lost on that.
What it is do people exist? We have this massive government with millions of people, and nobody knows who's working for the government, who's not. So what they're doing is they're sending out a letter to everybody, and they're saying, what were the things you did last week? Mm-hmm. I guess they ask for 5. And if people are working, it's easy. I could tell you 5 things I did last week. I could tell you 5 things I did 6 weeks ago, right? If they're there and they're working, they're able to say they did 5 things during work. And that means they're working and they're with us and they have no further obligation. If they're not, it could be there's no such person. It could be that the person's no longer working. They're no longer living at that address. They may be moved. Maybe they moved to a different country, or maybe the person doesn't exist. And we then take that person off the payroll, and we save a lot of money by doing that. But that's one of the only ways. I think it's a very smart thing. And it says if you don't answer, essentially, there's a penalty to pay. Like, that's the end of the job.
Well, Musk has said that. The order itself doesn't say that. I think that's part of the confusion. Is he speaking for you when he says...
Yeah, everybody speaks for me. I'm the one. I'll take responsibility. You know the old statement, the buck stops here, right? Famous statement. Well, I can say the same thing. The buck stops here. No, we have to find out if people are getting paid and they're not working. And, they have a problem. Let's say they have another job. And then they write in false statements. It's a big problem if they write in false statements. They may be working for somebody else but getting paid by the U.S. government. And that would mean that they're not allowed to be doing that. They're not allowed to be working for us and be working for somebody else. We're paying them a lot of money. We're paying them. So we'll see. That solves that problem. Most people aren't willing to say that, we're doing this, and this, and this for the U.S. government, and yet they're at another job, because that's a big problem for them if they do that. So in some cases, they're not writing back. And if they don't write back, they end up eventually losing their job. We give them extensions, but, that was something we thought about a long time ago. We give them extensions, but we'll see. We have to make sure, number one, that we have people, number two, that they're working, and number two, they're working for us, not for another company.
Is it true that President Zelensky is coming on Friday to meet with you, and is the mineral deal sorted out?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly, it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me, and I understand that's a big deal, very big deal. And I think the American people, even if you look at polling, they're very happy because, Biden was throwing money around like it's cotton candy. And it's a very big deal. Look, it could be $1 trillion deal. It could be whatever, but it's rare earths and other things. And look, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Ukraine and Russia fighting. A war that should have never, ever happened. That's a war that would have never happened if I were president. And it didn't happen for 4 years. People say, how do we know that? It didn't happen for 4 years. Would have never happened. And nevertheless, this guy went into this situation and he spent money like nobody's ever seen, $350 billion. The other thing that we don't like is that Europe has spent $100 billion. We've spent $350 billion. Europe gets their money back because they spent it in the form of a loan, and we just gave them, whether it's 300 or 350 billion, nobody really knows. They can't even tell me the answer to that, but it means probably more than that. So what we're doing is now we're saying, look, we want to be secured. We want to get that money back. We're helping a country through a very, very big problem, a problem like very few people have had. Shouldn't have had this problem because it shouldn't have happened, but it did happen, so we have to straighten it out. But the American taxpayer now is going to get their money back plus.
Mr. President, yesterday with Emmanuel Macron.
All right, so that was just from yesterday, of course, at the White House as President Trump was signing a number of executive orders. Of course, he's actually signing more executive orders around 3 o'clock today, we're told. So a lot of coverage happening, of course, here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, getting ready for this great cabinet meeting coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern. This morning, President Trump on Truth Social, we're going to get to some of those posts as well, talking about various subjects this morning. So let's go to American Financing as well, one of our great sponsors at the network. If you'd like to save upwards of $800 a month, all you have to do is go to AmericanFinancing.net. You're talking refinancing with great loans and all of that there at American Financing. It's a great patriotic company, of course, that you can reach out to at AmericanFinancing.net. So let's also go to PatriotAddictDeals.com. You've got the Trump combat knife there. You can use the QR code if you'd like on the screen, or just go to PatriotAddictDeals.com and use that RSBN 30 promo code, RSBN 30, a great code there for 30% off of the Trump combat knife. Again, PatriotAddictDeals.com. All right, so it's 10:22 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for joining us on RSBN Live, getting ready for that all-star cast of cabinet members there to meet with President Trump at about 11 a.m. We'll take you there live as it's happening. And as soon as that happens, it'll be great to see. Also, President Trump saying, quote, earlier today, great job by the Southwest pilots in Chicago. A nearly tragic close call, perhaps suspend the pilot's license of the other plane who must have been, quote unquote, sleeping. If you didn't see that video, one of the Southwest planes was landing at Chicago Midway Airport, and as it made it onto the ground and landed, it had to pull right back up because there was a smaller corporate jet that was crossing on that same runway. So it was quite the close call yesterday. That's the call that President Trump's referring to, of course, there. Also, President Trump about an hour ago saying, quote, all cabinet members are extremely happy with Elon. The media will see that at the cabinet meeting this morning. So we will too, right here on Right Side, and as will you. In just about 37 minutes from now, we look forward to seeing that great meeting with all those all-star cast members of the cabinet picks there. There are 4 cabinet picks that are still waiting to be confirmed. And one of them is actually today with the U.S. Trade Representative, Jamieson Greer. So he'll be someone that later today will be most likely confirmed, of course, for the U.S. Trade Representative. Lori Chavez DeRemer at the Secretary of Labor, as the Secretary of Labor, and also the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, and then the U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Elise Stefanik. So looking forward to seeing everybody at their cabinet posts at the White House as all systems are go and our country is continually going to a new level as we're seeing it be made great again. And also making America healthy again. We're looking forward to seeing more come out from the HHS department there with RFK Jr. as he's already made announcements of certain things that are happening. So yeah, we're seeing great things, including Doge, of course. It's been a topic of conversation for quite some time because of all of the iceberg that we're seeing. Not just the tip of the iceberg anymore. We're seeing further down in those waters, seeing the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse that's happening. So he'll be at that cabinet meeting today. The president has confirmed that. All right, so meantime, other news we're following. The spending bill that the House just passed yesterday includes no taxes on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security. So great to see that as well. In case you missed it, of course, if you missed any of the executive orders from the president, we did upload that to Rumble and to YouTube. So if you want to see that, it's about 40 minutes long. It's just from yesterday. You can watch that in its entirety. It's always great to see the president sign the EOs, but then also take those Q&As back and forth with the reporters there, especially when he shuts certain reporters down for ridiculous questions that stem from a false lying narrative that is anti our country. So, just imagine if you were at your workplace and you had a bunch of journalists be able to stand there and ask you questions about your job every day. Well, hopefully those questions would be based in truth and common sense, but unfortunately, 95% of this so-called mainstream media who is really not even a factor anymore, to be honest, because nobody's watching and nobody's reading and nobody's clicking on their junk that they're providing. That's why we're seeing all the things fall apart on the left. I mean, because when you go that far to the radical left, you're going to see that the majority of this country is just not there, and there won't ever be that way. There's a small percentage of people that I believe would be, yay to the New York Times and all these guys, but not really anymore. The majority of the country, of course, on the right side of history, and we're glad to have a lot of you here watching us on Right Side Broadcasting and also throughout conservative media. As we're approaching the bottom of the hour, and producer, can you repeat, please? Okay, let's go with angelpaste.com. So all you have to do is use the RSBN promo code for a discount off of this great product. They're made in Spring, Texas. Of course, hires military veterans as well. A good percentage off if you just use RSBN as a promo code. So Angel Paste, you see it right there on your screen, angelpaste.com. Let's shift over to another sponsor here in just a second. It's a sponsor that a lot of people are familiar with out there, and as soon as we get that graphic up, we will talk about it here in a second. But it's something that is growing in popularity. More than 500,000 of the units have been sold over the past 5 years, and it's right there. Unfortunately, it's pointing the way it should be pointing the other way. But anyway, the alternative to deadly force, proudly American, Byrna.com/RSBN, not classified as a firearm, no background checks, over 25,000 five-star reviews, legal in all 50 states, and delivered to your front door. So that's a great product there. Definitely law enforcement actually using this less lethal pistol there, this launcher, the alternative to deadly force. So you see it right there on the right side of your screen, of course, Byrna.com/RSBN, a great sponsor at Right Side Broadcasting Network. All right, so when we go on Truth Social, earlier today, the president talked about wanting DEI practices to stop at Apple. And in 2027, the iPhone will actually celebrate its 20th anniversary. It will always be a revolutionary product for those of you that have the iPhone out there. So, but if you begin to type the following thing, say you want to text your friend, or even if they have an Android or an iPhone, and if you start to type President Trump and you don't capitalize, Trump, because usually it auto-capitalize, well, it doesn't do that. And you can test it out if you'd like right now. Every other president that I've seen, except for maybe one, they all capitalize. So if you type President Clinton, lowercase c, it pops it up to the uppercase. Same thing with Obama, Biden, President Washington, Jefferson, Reagan, McKinley, Lincoln, and on. Thought it was quite interesting as the president's talking about Apple and DEI practices, but outside of that, or maybe connected to that, I don't know, for some reason, again, you could try it on your phone right now if you'd like. All you do is type President Trump, and you have to, again, be texting someone. So go ahead and put somebody's name on the top. Type President Trump, but with a lowercase t. It's not going to capitalize to the capital T. But if you typed President Clinton or Obama or Biden or McKinley or Lincoln or Reagan or Jefferson, great presidents there, obviously President Washington, Jefferson, Reagan, McKinley, and Lincoln, they'll all capitalize. So why does President Trump not get the capital T? Just food for thought. I just thought I'd bring it up as President Trump's speaking about Apple a lot on Truth Social this morning. So again, if you want to try it, it's definitely interesting. So hopefully we can do a hashtag President Trump with that capital T there all over Truth Social, all over X. And let's get President Trump the capital T that he deserves with the Apple iPhone. All right, so meantime, again, other news we're following. That spending bill from yesterday, the House passed, includes no taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. So that, obviously, the American people will like to see that throughout our country, and that's one of the campaign promises that we saw on the campaign trail. I mean, there's 20 core promises, but there have been more than now 80, I believe, executive orders signed at the Oval Office there at the White House. So all of these executive orders on the right side of history for our country. And it's quadrupled the amount that Obama signed during his time in office, and double the amount Biden signed. And we know that Biden and Obama, they were signing a bunch of executive orders that would help their leftist agenda, which does not reflect the will of the American people. We saw that since 2015, of course, President Trump won that election. He won the election of 2020. He won the election of 2024. It's because we, the people, we're fed up with the left, and we're fed up with what's going on that side of the aisle. But at the end of the day, we know, again, not every Democrat and liberal across this country is so radical, and there probably a lot of them deep down, they might not admit it, are like, I'm happy that President Trump's in office. I'm glad that there's more law and order. I'm glad that the southern border's closed. I'm glad that our money is going to start going to us instead of everyone else, So, yeah, a lot of detox going on when it comes to the brainwashing that's happened in this country over the past several years. And also all of the corruption that's being rid from all of these departments when it comes to Doge, looking at these specific departments and cutting away at all of the corruption so it can be a healthy department. I think that's really what we're looking at here in this country, is to make our country great again, but to make America healthy again isn't only just what we're eating. With the toxins and the processing food and all that junk that we know that RFK Jr. is all about, cleaning up our food supply. But I think making America healthy again also is a reflection to every department across our land, whether it's at local, state, or federal levels. We see President Trump working with this great cabinet we're about to see in about 28 minutes or so, this all-star cast of patriots that are really in there to make our country healthy again at each department. Make our Veterans Affairs Department healthy. Make the Health and Human Services healthy again. Make the Department of Defense healthy. I mean, on and on and on, through our country. The Department of Education, as it goes back to the states. I mean, there's so many things that, with anybody, even individually or corporately or as a country, we all have things we could work on to get healthier in a number of ways. But the point is, let's do it. And that's what President Trump is doing there at the White House. And seeing all those cabinet picks, it's great to see, and looking forward to it. So those of you watching right now on RSBN Live, thanks so much for streaming in as we get ready to see this all-star cast of characters, of patriots that are people that are on the right side of history. That's coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're just joining us, thanks so much for tuning in as the winning continues in Washington, D.C. We know that President Trump has confirmed that Doge's Elon Musk will be in attendance. And we're told later today that President Trump will sign more executive orders as well. As for tomorrow, the president will meet with the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom there. And then also next week, the president will address a joint session of Congress on March 4th. So we're seeing so many great transparent moves by this White House as well, with just yesterday, the White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt talking about the new media and that the White House has a press team now that says, okay, here are the people that are going to get, everybody can basically ask a question. It's not just going to be by this White House Correspondents Association, who's led by a guy that is a chief editor at the White House for Politico and appears on MSNBC. And that whole thing is just a bunch of fake, phony show that goes on there. Because it's we're here for freedom of the press. No, you're here to lie to the American people, and you have for decades. And so now you're getting called out, as Carolyn Leavitt put a sledgehammer to the mainstream media of verbally speaking. So that happened just yesterday. So everybody can ask. So yes, there's freedom of speech where a leftist media can ask a question, but it's not going to be by the guidelines of this White House Correspondents Association. And I guarantee that President Trump and the team, I don't think will be attending that dinner this year. If he does, okay, great, but I wouldn't, to be honest. Why would I want to go in front of that great group of people? So who knows, though? President Trump has surprised us all with all the great things that he's done and how he's overcome so many things in real time. And we've covered that here at the network. So pretty awesome to see it. Every day is, as Carla Sands put it the other day, as Robert McNeely said the other day as well, it's like Christmas every day. I mean, because of the amount of great things that are happening. So again, a vacation is in the works. The Gulf of America will be great for those of you that are in the southeast region of the country, or maybe travel from the north down to the south. And those of you out on the west coast, maybe in California and certain parts of the state there, up in New Jersey or Maryland or Delaware, looking forward to vacations where we can just relax and be like, you know what, the country is taken care of by the president, but also as soon as that vacation's over, it's hard to even get away from the thought of still fighting for this country and saving this country, and that's still the process that we're in. But it's nice to be able to say, hey, on a weekend, maybe you got a 3-day weekend or something, that you can go on a vacation, enjoy it for a little bit, and then get back into it and continue on. I mean, President Trump plays golf on the weekend sometimes. I mean, I think it's a good thing to be able to kind of have that ability to relax, but enjoy the fact that we've got some great leaders doing great things for our country. So back to that point of Gulf of America, I started out the broadcast, of course, it was all over the place at the beginning, but at the end of the day, we know that the Gulf of America Outfitters by a guy named Adam Peterson is the owner of that great company down there in Louisiana, in Venice, Louisiana. He has a fishing charter service there and a lot of great gear as well. And we were working on a possible live video from there where he was going to be out on the Gulf of America, and has a Starlink and everything, and we're going to do a live report from there. So if that works out, great. If not, maybe we can record it sometime, but it'd be great to bring that to you. And as you saw just the other day, Ashley Brassfield live from the Gulf, which was quite awesome to have some live reporting from right there of the correct name of that body of water, the Gulf of America, of course. All right, so looking at some various stories again, we know another world leader will be here tomorrow, Keir Starmer. A lot of opinions about that prime minister. So what I'll do is I have plenty of opinions about the leader of the UK. I know some of you do too, especially those of you that stay within the political realm and hear about certain policies that are made. But I'm curious to see how that interaction is tomorrow. We know the UK and our country always great friends and allies. So that'll be tomorrow. We'll have that live coverage here at the network. And on top of that, again, March 4th, that joint session of Congress. Let's return to President Trump's Truth Social page, as we have a number of different posts from the president earlier today. So Apple, again, should get rid of DEI rules, the president says, not just make adjustments to them. DEI was a hoax that has been very bad for our country, and DEI is gone. So that from the president earlier today. It's 10:39. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back here on RSBN.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Families across the nation have arrived at a heartbreaking crossroad to surrender their beloved animals at alarming rates due to inflation and soaring costs of living.
There are so many overcrowded shelters. So many dogs need a home, but it's all of us working together to solve this crisis.
This fight requires both doers and dollars. Join us at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Please sign up today.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez, looking live there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I know we're getting ready about 18 minutes from now. As soon as we get that live feed to the cabinet room, it'll be great to see the president along with the all-star cast of patriots, all of the great cabinet members. Elon Musk is going to be there as well. I mean, leading Doge, doing a great job there. So this all brought to you by Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group is a great company, of course, that you can get a free info kit. All you do is go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN. So freegoldguide.com/RSBN. You get more information on tax-sheltered IRAs and 401ks, all tax-free. Right there with Colonial Metals Group, as there is an urgent retirement warning with the amount of things going on with the stocks when it comes to Warren Buffett. I mean, he dumped $133 billion in stocks the other day, and you know the BRICS nations trying to use our dollar. Well, we know that Maganomics is really going to help out, but also still having gold and silver as a backup plan, always a good idea. freegoldguide.com/RSBN. All right, so it's 10:43 this morning on this Wednesday, February 26th. Looking live there at the U.S. Capitol building, a beautiful picture from Washington, D.C. Blue skies, beautiful building where inside on January 20th, 2025, President Trump said the following. Let's go over this great statement again. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Those words echoed in that rotunda on January 20th, 2025. It's beautiful because you look at our country, our Constitution, and our God, and is that not the pillars of what this country is all about? And the fact that President Trump would say something like that and then also mean it, and then also the actions that we're seeing that are done by the president with these executive orders and all the cabinet picks, he wouldn't have gone through all 4 years of what he just went through if he wasn't on it, on this team for the right reasons. Holy smokes, he almost got his life taken. The lawfare, I mean, so much, he could have just dropped out. If he had any deep state smell to him or he was swampy at all, let's be real, he would have been like, peace, I did my part, I'm out. No, President Trump, the outsider. And can I get an amen, by the way? All of you guys watching on the Rumble and YouTube right now, if you want to say amen, if you agree with what I just said there, please do. That'd be great to see a bunch of amens there as we are ready to see the president here in about 15 minutes from now. He also posted at about, I think it was 15 minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago, that he hopes the House and Senate are able to agree on making the tax cuts permanent. So that from the president on Truth Social earlier this morning. So it's great to see these awesome posts from just today. We also see, again, all cabinet members are extremely happy with Elon. The media will see that at the cabinet meeting this morning. He also said Apple should get rid of DEI rules, not just make adjustments to them. DEI was a hoax. That has been very bad for our country. DEI is gone. So that from the president this morning. And again, if you just joined us, just kind of a interesting fact about the Apple iPhone. Of course, you know, in 27, that'll be 20 years for the revolutionary product. If you remember Steve Jobs talking about this revolutionary product in that keynote back in the day, and that it was had all of these great things a part of this phone, and that it was just one device, and it was this amazing moment at Apple. Well, outside of the DEI situation that President Trump's talking about, it'd be great. It's kind of minor, but it's also interesting. It kind of speaks volumes that when you type the word President Trump, if you're texting someone, if you type President Trump and you don't capitalize the T, if you just put Trump, it stays lowercase t Trump. But if you type in President Clinton, Obama, Biden, even the greats, you know, President George Washington or President Jefferson, President Reagan, President McKinley, President Lincoln, all of the, if you type it, all of the first letters of the last name will capitalize automatically. The only one that doesn't is President Trump. And there may be one other out there, but quite interesting to see, just even on the small scale there, that people are just, you know, certain people are anti this country. And you can just tell by something like that. I was talking with Robert McNeil yesterday about that. It was pretty interesting. I showed him right on there. If you type President Trump lowercase and you're texting somebody, it'll stay lowercase. And all the other presidents, though, it goes uppercase. Interesting. 10:47 Eastern time. You know, a White House X post from a while ago quoting Elon Musk saying, "The people voted for major government reform, and that is what the people are going to get." So that's what we're going to see today at this cabinet meeting inside the White House, of course, where Elon Musk and these other cabinet members are there and will be doing great things for our country. They already have started to do that. So seeing President Trump at the center of that table is going to be quite powerful. And then all of the people there from, you know, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Elon Musk will be there. I'm not sure if Pete Hegseth, the DOD secretary, will be in attendance. I know that he was at Guantanamo Bay yesterday. I believe since Cuba obviously is not that far off of our coast, I believe he will be there today as well. So many people, you know, Pam Bondi and others there. So it's going to be quite the cabinet meeting. This is the first cabinet meeting of President Trump's second administration. So also we're hearing that there will be, when it comes to the Florida Representative Ana Paulina Luna, that when she announced that Federal Secrets Declassification Task Force, which will declassify government secrets, that the JFK assassination files will be available on a website for all the public to see. I don't know the specifics on exactly when that's happening, but it looks like it's happening a lot sooner than later. So looking forward to seeing that information as we become more aware of any corruption that's happening throughout our country. President Trump on Air Force One recently saying, quote, "We're looking at all the corruption taking place. The whole country looks like a fraud," President Trump said a few weeks back. What Elon and the Doge team has found is unbelievable. Next up is looking at the spending with education and the military. And he said that the government has not functioned properly in many years. Billions of dollars, the president said, of fraud, waste, and abuse has already been found in the investigation of our incompetently run government. Now, certain activists and highly political judges want us to slow down or stop. So, you know, that was from a few weeks ago, but we're seeing a lot of things ruling in the president's favor to continue with he and the cabinet team there to do great there. And of course, that was just a live picture. Thank you, producer. I didn't catch it, but I'm sure those of you watching, Elon Musk just walking down the steps there near the White House. So We'll see. I believe a number of people, of course, are at the building right next to the White House there, and we'll be walking over to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but also, of course, the Oval Office right there on the West Wing. So they'll be going to the Cabinet Room for this meeting in about 10 minutes, and I believe it'll be starting right at 11 a.m., just in about 10 minutes' time, as we are looking live there at Washington, D.C., the White House. Let's go to Colonial Metals Group as we are awaiting more live pictures there. FreeGoldGuide.com, a great group, Colonial Metals Group, tax-sheltered IRA, 401k, your hedge against inflation. If you have a little bit of retirement or savings and you want to put it toward gold and silver, that high value, you can do that. All you have to do is go to FreeGoldGuide.com/RSBN. Great sponsor here at the network, as we're about 9 minutes away from the start of this cabinet meeting. We're taking a live look there at the White House, and we'll see a number of all-star cast of patriots today that have our country's best interest in mind, and that is not propaganda. That is common sense truth. We've heard from each of these people, and when they speak with common sense. They speak with things based in the Constitution. They speak with wanting law and order to happen in our country, wanting our southern border to be closed, wanting our food systems to be, our food supply to be healthy, less toxins, or maybe no toxins at all. As you're taking that live look there, of course, right outside the White House, the beautiful 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So, yeah, we're looking forward to all of that. Now, a government of, for, and by the people, of course. And Charlie Kirk on Truth Social recently said, when we voted for President Trump, we voted for Elon Musk and Doge, RFK Jr., and Make America Healthy Again, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth. We voted for a robust chief executive of the country and his team, not a deep state bureaucracy guarded by legacy media, rogue intel agencies, and activist judges. So we also heard from President Trump saying, quote, this will be the most America First administration in history. And he's always said, of course, the best is yet to come. And so I believe that's the case for right now. I mean, we're only in about a month and a week into this second administration. So all of the executive signings that he's done with the executive orders, and then, of course, the legislative processes when it comes to our great American patriots that are in Congress. I know there's only a small handful of them, but still great to work together as a unit in the GOP to support President Trump's agenda, which in turn was exactly what we want. We voted for it through President Trump's campaign promises on the trail, and we're seeing these executive orders all linked to campaign promises. So wonderful to see that happening throughout our country. A lot of more smiling faces around the nation right now as we continue to see the country go to the next level. All right, so again, President Trump will be having this meeting in about 7 minutes. We'll be going to that live. The Doge's Elon Musk will be in attendance, and we're told later today that the president will also be signing executive orders. So I believe at this point we're at about 80 executive orders. There was 75 just a few days ago. He signed some yesterday, so we're pushing that 80 mark or more. As if you remember, there may be upwards of 200 that will be signed during the course of just these first few months. This is really the genesis of making America great again. It's happening before our eyes. It's quite awesome to see this new level of our country happening, which really in turn affects everybody, especially those working in the military or those working in construction or any industry that you're in out there. A lot of Trump supporters, let's be real, throughout the country, a majority of the country, of course, a large majority of this nation, all 50 states shifting to the right in voting as well. So we've seen that, and we've heard that from President Trump. And, you know, those everyday conversations by everyday Americans, think about it. If you work in the military, or if you're part of the military, or work at a factory, or if you have an office job, or if you still work remote for some reason out there, it is what it is, right? So, but when people talk to each other, I'm sure, especially when you know that you have a Trump supporter that is at your workplace, and you may not still want to talk about it. Who knows if your boss is a Trump supporter or not, but it's fun. You have that camaraderie with people. But most likely in certain industries, we see people supporting President Trump anyway. But it's just one of those things, those everyday conversations, I'm sure, have a little bit more pep in your step when you are going to work, or if you do work in a place that it's not the best to talk politics and that kind of thing. I get it, but we're seeing a lot of great changes in our country, and it's something that people talk about a lot more than ever before. Politics and faith, it's being discussed in a wide way in our country, because I think the mainstream media always said things like, hey, let's keep politics and religion, we'll keep that out of it, and people have always said that. But I think on the other side of the coin, it's like, why not talk about what will make our country great again? Why not talk about God? We're not forgetting our God in this nation. So, about 5 minutes away from this cabinet meeting. You said Colonial Metals producer, is that right? All right, let's go to Colonial Metals Group once again here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So it's freegoldguide.com/RSBN for the free gold kit. So you'll get an info kit on gold. Making me think about Fort Knox right now, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. So obviously gold and silver, very high value, but the urgent retirement warning that the Colonial Metals Group is letting you know about as well is because of the number of things going on in finances, right? With the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa using their own currency instead of our dollar. So hopefully that will turn around. But in the meantime, still having gold and silver as a backup plan, a great idea. All you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN and you'll get a free info kit. Also, if you'd like to go to republicanred.com, you can get some great vino there, some great wine. A lot of different choices there. So republicanred.com, and then you can use the RSBN promo code for the 45 to 47 Pinot Noir, the sparkling wine, all sorts of great choices. A great website too, republicanred.com, and then go and use that RSBN promo code. All right, we're 3 minutes out from the top of the hour. As soon as we see that live feed from the cabinet, we'll be going there directly and have that in its entirety here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, as we continue to cover America First news and also breaking news that may be happening, whether it's inside the Beltway there or outside Washington, D.C., throughout the country, outside of the 495 interstate Beltway there in Washington. So again, just yesterday, a near miss when it comes to a Chicago Midway Airport situation where a Southwest Airlines plane was landing and landed actually on the runway and had to pull right back up and go back up into the air because a corporate jet was going right across that tarmac right into the line of traffic of where that Southwest jet was coming in to make a landing. President Trump saying, great job by the Southwest pilots in Chicago, a nearly tragic close call. Perhaps suspend the pilot's license of the other plane who must have been quote unquote sleeping. So that from the president about an hour ago. Also from the president 32 minutes ago, I hope the House and Senate are able to agree on making the tax cuts permanent. Specifically, some of those tax cuts we were looking at where the House passed a spending bill just yesterday, and it included no taxes on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security. Also, shifting gears as it's the top of the hour now, the latest on the confirmation process of cabinet members. 18 of President Trump's picks have been confirmed. There are 4 people awaiting cabinet confirmations. The U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Elise Stefanik, the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, and the Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez de Reamer. And today will be the U.S. Trade Representative, Jamieson Greer. So that is something that will be voted on today. We'll see when that happens. And then, of course, bring you the latest as we get it right here on RSBN Live. Let's look at some of the other headlines that are out there right now. We do know Pete Hegseth, of course, was in at Gitmo yesterday. He actually shared a heartfelt message to our troops just yesterday. and it's actually on the DoD Rapid Response page. So if you'd like to take a look at that, it's at the DoD Rapid Response. They posted it 43 minutes ago. This was also posted yesterday, so this was a reminder of the actual heart of the Department of Defense. In the end, the Rapid Response team saying it's all about supporting our brave warfighters. That from the DoD just yesterday. Making America healthy again, of course, President Trump announces actions to make healthcare prices transparent, empowering patients through radical price transparency. President Trump signed an executive order to empower patients with clear, accurate, and actionable healthcare pricing information. That from just yesterday. And President Trump also posting a video about Gaza on his Truth account. You could check that out if you'd like. And then another story that I thought was quite interesting, President Trump possibly on a $250 bill. Now, President Trump didn't post about this, but a leading report did, saying that Representative Joe Wilson plans to introduce legislation directing the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to design a $250 bill featuring President Trump. So that'll be quite interesting to see that. That's on leading report. Also, Elon Musk will be in attendance again at this cabinet meeting that's set to start any minute from now. Why don't we take a commercial break? We'll be right back. And if for some reason there is the live feed that happens, we will cut into that commercial, of course, and bring you the Cabinet Room live.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Families across the nation have arrived at a heartbreaking crossroad to surrender their beloved animals at alarming rates due to inflation and soaring costs of living.
There are so many overcrowded shelters. So many dogs need a home, but it's all of us working together to solve this crisis.
This fight requires both doers and dollars. Join us at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Please sign up today.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez at 11:04 Eastern Time. I believe that the cabinet meeting may be getting started at any minute, and also how this will work from here is if we get a live feed, obviously it will take you to the cabinet room. Sometimes, like at the Oval Office, it's a recorded feed. So that means You wait until the executive orders are signed, then it's fed to all the networks, and then we're able to play it to you. That's why sometimes you see the words moments ago in the top right corner of that. So this may be the case with this situation here. A lot of times it's on the fly. So that's why as we cover live developments here at the network, sometimes it's a live feed and sometimes it's a recorded feed, meaning there are no live cameras from inside the actual cabinet room. For me, I have no idea which one it's going to be because I'm not in that cabinet room and I'm not at the White House right now. So I just wanted to give you that update that this may be a live feed. As soon as we see it, we're going to go to it, or it will be the entire cabinet meeting, and then we will show it to you on a replay, which every network will have to do that. That's why you see that, again, it says moments ago. So as soon as that happens, either way, whether it's live or replay, we'll bring it to you right here at the network. Of course, remember, transparency is key, right? So want to explain what you're about to see, whether it's at any moment or a little bit later this morning in the sense of within the hour. So I'm flying here with you as we monitor what's going on there at the cabinet room. Looking forward to that all-star cast of Patriots. Carolyn Levitt actually calling it that as well about 44 minutes ago on her X page, an all-star cast. So looking forward to seeing that. So also in the meantime, what we can do as we await this live footage, let's gather some other possible live interviews that we may have to get here if we have to extend our coverage at this point. So, Director, can we go to the executive order signing from just yesterday? It hasn't aired on our channel yet. It's been posted on Rumble and YouTube. We can go to that for just a few minutes as we gather some more live coverage here at the network. As we've been on, of course, since 10 this morning. Looking forward to seeing the cabinet meeting here shortly. Also, President Trump confirms that Doge's Elon Musk will be in attendance. Again, looking forward to that. And also, there's executive orders being signed a bit later at the White House. So here's what we'll do. We'll go to the executive orders from just within the 24/7 news cycle just yesterday. We're going to play that as we await a live feed or also a replay. We'll keep you updated here at the network. Also, we'll work on getting some live interviews in here as we continue our coverage live on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
In Ukraine, that Putin was fine with it. The Kremlin, I guess, has said that that's actually unacceptable to them. What's real here?
That's not what I was told. But you're going to need some form of peacekeeping, so something will be done that's going to be satisfactory to everybody. We need peacekeeping too.
Any situation
it's
where
actually
American troops involved?
it's actually something I did discuss, but a form of peacekeeping that's acceptable to everybody. Ultimately, we'll be able to agree on something. I'm sure.
With Ukraine and this mineral deal, what does Ukraine get in return, Mr. President?
$350 billion and lots of equipment, and military equipment, and the right to fight on, and originally the right to fight. Look, Ukraine, I will say, they're very brave and they're good soldiers, but without the United States and its money and its military equipment, this war would have been over in a very short period of time. In fact, I was the one that gave the javelins. You remember the famous javelins? That was me. That wasn't Obama. It wasn't Biden. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. And they wiped out a lot of tanks with those javelins. And the expression was that Obama gave sheets and I gave the javelins. That was a big deal at the time. It wiped out. That was the beginning when people said, wow, that's something. Well, that was American equipment. Without American equipment, this war would have been over very quickly. And American money, too. I mean, a lot of money.
So that war-fighting equipment and the ammunition, that's sustained going forward for Ukraine, and how long is it sustained?
Well, it could go forward for a while, and maybe until we have a deal with Russia. Look, we need to have a deal with Russia, otherwise it's going to continue. But now when Americans put up their money, the taxpayer money, and the president approves it, we're getting our money back in some form. But it could go on for a while, or it could be settled quickly. I think it's going to be settled quickly. I spoke with President Putin. I think he wants to settle it. And once you get on with life, it's horrible. What's happening, horrible. Thousands of soldiers a week are being killed, and others too. but especially on the battlefield. Thousands a week are being killed, and we want that to end. Yeah, Brian?
Yes. Okay. Real quickly, Carolyn Levitt, your press secretary, sent an earthquake through that briefing room earlier today announcing that the WHCA would not have any control over placing media in the seats in the briefing room. Just want to get your thoughts on that. And also on Air Force One, it's trending on X. People are talking about it. Get your thoughts.
Well, we're going to be now calling those shots. As you know, we won that lawsuit right there. See, the Gulf of America, which is a beautiful name. Most people agree. I don't know. It's, AP has been terrible. Look, I think they're radical left. I think they're third-rate reporters. I know the specific young lady that works on the account is terrible. She's a radical left lunatic, as far as I'm concerned. They don't treat us fairly. That's number one. And number two, they had no right to do that. This is the Gulf of America. And if you look at that shoreline, look at that shoreline. Look, from Florida, well, most of it it's called America. And vast majority, like big numbers. So I'm just admiring it as I look at it. I'm getting teary-eyed, but I don't want you to say Trump broke down and started crying. No, how beautiful is that? Look at the shoreline. Look at that.
Well,
That's America.
Can I shift our attention to Canada real quick?
Yes, please.
Last week, I spent some time with two government officials from Canada. I was asking them how realistic is it that Canada would be the 51st state.
Yeah.
And they told me there is a path. Alberta is first, and if they sign on, Saskatchewan would follow, and then you go west to British Columbia. There is a movement in Canada to join us. I want to get your thoughts on that and how that's proceeding.
So it's true. Thank you, Brian. It's true. A lot of people in Canada are liking becoming our beautiful, cherished 51st state. They'll have to pay much lower taxes. They'll have the ultimate security. You know, they don't pay very much for security right now because they rely on us, which is really unfair to us. They make cars that we could make, and they send them back into the United States. They make a lot of things, including the sending of oil and everything. We don't need their oil. We don't need their lumber. In fact, we're going to be freeing up, and I've asked Howard Lutnick to get that done with Lee and everybody, Lee Zeldin, environmental. We're freeing up our forests. We're going to be able to take down trees. Right now, we're so restricted environmentally. We're going to be freeing it up with an emergency order. We have an emergency order, and we're going to be freeing up our forests. We have more forests than almost anybody, and great lumber, great trees. We don't need anybody's trees. We don't need trees from Canada or anybody else. In fact, we have to put the slits, as they call them, the area, 50, 60-yard area in between areas of trees. It stops the fires. And frankly, California should have been doing that for years. It's almost getting late. They're going to run out of forests the way they're going. What a shame. And by the way, the water is flowing in California. I hope you people have seen it. But the water is flowing. Do you have a picture of that? I'd hold it up. Do you have a picture of that? Get a picture of it, please. We had a little skirmish in California. I can't believe we had to do that. But we opened up the water in California. The water was flowing into a place called the Pacific Ocean, which for the Pacific Ocean is only a drop. But for us, it's more water than we can use in California. So I'll get you some photographs, but it's a beautiful sight. The water is flowing in California. Beautiful water from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. And it flows down, and instead of being routed out to the Pacific Ocean, and this has been going on for 20 years more in order to take care of a certain species of fish, which wasn't doing very well without water, I can tell you. So that's a big deal. It's like not reported. It's incredible. But California has a lot of water. That's going to take care of farmers. It's going to wetten up the land. And it's going to go all the way down to Los Angeles, where they have curfews on water, where they have all sorts of blocks on water. You can only use so much. We're going to put until just recently, they were going to put a number of gallons per person living in a house in Beverly Hills on water. You're not going to have that problem anymore. Do you have a picture? Let me just see what that looks like. How beautiful is that? Look at that beautiful water flowing. Look at that. That's coming in the dikes and other means of transportation. Isn't that beautiful? Who would believe that? That's all water they could have had. I went to the governor during my first term and I said, why don't you do this? And they said they have an environmental problem with clean water. If this water were there, you wouldn't have had those fires. You had sprinklers. They make people put sprinklers in the ceiling of a home, and they had no water in them. With this, they would have had a lot of water in them. They would have all been full. They would have had you would have had a whole different deal down there. You probably wouldn't have had a fire, but if it was, it would have been small, would have been put out. You had the fire hydrants not working in California. So it's a beautiful site. These are canals that were built. These were all built. And you saw them for years. They were empty, concrete. They call them the V-shapes or the half pipes. And they're shaped different forms, but they're shaped, and they rush down through the farm areas where the farmers can take it and down to Los Angeles. And they were sitting empty for years. And now look at that way it looked. It wasn't easy. We had to be very unfriendly to get into those areas. We opened it up.
Mr. President.
I essentially attacked California. Can you believe it? I attacked California. Let's go.
At the outset of your administration, sir, you committed to ending the weaponization of government, to holding those accountable who participated in the weaponization of government.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening? Deranged Jack Smith. We're going to call it the Deranged Jack Smith signing or bill. Go ahead.
One law firm that provided pro bono legal services to the special counsel's office under Jack Smith's leadership was Covington and Burling. As a result of those actions, we're now going to be suspending and putting under review the security clearances for the attorneys and employees at that firm who worked with Jack Smith's team. And we're going to continue holding the people who were responsible for the weaponization of government and who supported it accountable for what they did.
And you'll be doing this with other firms as time goes by, right?
We're looking at sort of the whole panoply of options.
The weaponization of our system by law firms, even pro bono work they're doing just in order to clog up government, stop government. And nobody knows about it more than me. And hopefully that'll never happen again.
Covington and Burlington?
Covington and Burlington.
Mr. President, may I ask you a question about Europe? So long term, do you plan to maintain the number of U.S. troops?
Wait, I just want to savor this one, please. Who would like this pen? Hey, why don't you send it to Jack Smith? A deranged person.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who worry that targeting an individual firm or individuals who aren't Jack Smith?
Excuse me.
All right, so of course, watching live replay from yesterday where President Trump was signing some executive orders. Latest word we're hearing for the cabinet room, the cabinet meeting that you're all here for, as am I. It looks like what this will be is as soon as the cabinet meeting is done, there will be a replay. Every network is not getting this live at all, so that's the way it is. Sometimes these are live feeds, sometimes they are a moments ago. So you'll see that moments ago or aired earlier. As soon as the cabinet meeting wraps up, and as soon as the pool there, which is the different groups of photojournalists and photographers and videographers, once they roll back all of the footage from the cabinet meeting, we'll hit play on it here and we'll show it to you just fresh off of when that's sent to us. So no other network is going to have this live. If you want to test it, go ahead and check. But at the end of the day, the feed that we subscribe to here is going to feed us something, and then we will show you the cabinet meeting in its entirety. And of course, we'll post all of that on our Rumble and YouTube as well as we continue to work on various live streams today. Another busy day when it comes to news here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. All of it brought to you by a number of great sponsors, including Brightcore. So mybrightcore.com/RSBN if you'd like to get Kimchi One, a probiotic, and then also something that will really help with gut health and immune support and anti-aging properties. All you have to do is go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN for more information on this great product, Kimchi One. Also, Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. You can settle your back taxes today. All you have to do is go to tnusa.com/RSBN, 800-357-1415. An awesome group right there, Tax Network USA. All right, so other headlines that we're seeing out there right now on social media, and when we check out these headlines, these are specific to actual departments that are sending it out, including the White House. So the White House just said, the USDA, the Secretary Brooke Rollins, the plan to fix egg prices after Biden failed to act on repeated outbreaks. So we'll share that plan with you in a second. But here's what Biden failed to do. There was 500, so as he failed on those outbreaks, here is the plan for Rollins, the Agriculture Secretary. $500 million for farm biosecurity, $400 million for farmer relief, $100 million for R&D, and cutting red tape and costly regulations, safe imports to lower prices. Help is on the way for the American people. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, this in the Wall Street Journal, my plan to lower egg prices. We will take 5 steps to tackle avian flu and bring down costs for American families. We'll go from that department to the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who said House Republicans took an important step forward in advancing President Trump's agenda. We will deliver on President Trump's tax priorities, which is a critical first step in reprivatizing the U.S. economy. And he was showing President Trump's Truth Social post there, where President Trump said, big first step win for Speaker Mike Johnson in America. Now it's time to balance the budget. It can be done. DJT. So that on Truth Social earlier. One other story we're following here, leading report reporting DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says she has discovered some ICE officials who are tipping off criminal illegal aliens about the agency's deportation efforts, and they have been fired. So, as we continue to drain the swamp, as you see, the corruption from various levels of government or anything that has to do with President Trump's agenda, anybody that's coming against that, that is not doing a good job, they're getting shown the exit, because at the end of the day, the president and the team looking for people that want to help the American people, want to be part of the constitutional republic that we are here in this nation. And we're seeing all of the corruption getting taken away from various departments across the country. So we're really cleaning up our nation, making it, again, I talked about this earlier, making it healthy again, not only through RFK Jr. and food, but also any of the sicknesses that have corrupted our institutions or our agencies or our departments. We're seeing right now a live, real-time, each day operation in this country. We're literally going through surgery right now in our country to repair us, to restore us, to revitalize our economy, to bring us to that next level here in this nation. So we're seeing that all happen literally every single day and almost every hour. If you see on social media various department web pages and accounts there talking about the advancements and the progress, talk about progress, talk about seeing progress happen. That's what we're seeing every day here in this country. So again, this is all based in that truth and common sense and the Constitution of this country, because we are on that side of it, and that's the right side of history. And we see that President Trump and his team are also on that side. So to be straight up and honest, you know, that opinion editorial that you may see in those newspapers over the years and some of the talking heads on various left-leaning and other cable outlets, they share their opinion every day of the week. They report news, then they share their opinion on it. So that's what we're doing. We're sharing the news with you here. We're sharing this cabinet meeting. As soon as we get that feed to it, we're going to be airing that in its entirety. And then the commentary or that in-depth analysis that you hear from the hosts here, including myself, we always are with that perspective or that lens from the greatness for the American people, for our country, and for the advancement of the truth of this nation, for the free world. So continuing that, I mean, to be real, the only thing that I was really focused on going into that election was one thing. It was the constitutional rights for this country. the simplicity of the freedom for our nation, not to be bogged down by a government that would overlord and push down on us and trample on us and all that, to be able to be free from that. That was my main focus. I know that the immigration was a huge topic, and I know that we need to have a southern border that's closed. I know that the economy is important. I know all of these things, law and order. And these are things that you guys talk about too. This isn't rocket science. This is common sense. But that was the main one that I was really focused on, and that's what, out of the core promises from President Trump and the team there, number 7 is to defend our Constitution. And so as long as that right there is defended, everything else really stems from that freedom of free market or capitalism or conservatism. So that's why for me, and also let's be honest about it too, I'm in the media, we've got a lot of people in conservative media, and we're talking about all of these things that the left-leaning leadership and the left-leaning media absolutely hate. And so that's why I kept saying it's that fork in the road coming up on November 5th. Well, thank God in heaven, we turned on the right blinker, we made the right turn, and we're on the right side of history here in this country. I know you're not here just to listen to me blab on. We're going to get to that cabinet meeting as soon as we get that live feed. We're looking forward to bringing you that in its entirety as we get it. So it's 11:30 in about a few minutes. The bottom of the hour, let's go to American Financing. So it's AmericanFinancing.net is the place to go for all of your loan refinancing needs, home loans, and then also a company that's going to be a sponsor at this network. They're going to be based in patriotism and in love for the country. So these are some great people there at American Financing. So go ahead and work with them if you're looking into any of the refinancing or home loans, and if you're obviously wanting to save $800 on an average per month. American Financing, great to subscribe to it and give them a call, or go on that website, AmericanFinancing.com. Also, if you'd like to go to PatriotAddictDeals.com, many great products on there, a lot of MAGA, a lot of great Trump rally type gear, and then outside of that, you've got this Trump combat knife as well. So there's a lot of different kind of products on there. So just go to PatriotAddictDeals.com. You can use that QR code, and also there's a 30% discount for this product today. RSBN 30 is the discount. As it's 11:27 Eastern Time, Wednesday, February 26th. Looking forward to taking you there to the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, the Cabinet Room, for that all-star cast of patriots as we hear from them today, but also hear from the president right in the middle of that desk there, that long desk, that conference-like long, beautiful table there. We'll see President Trump and the team talk about a group of great people, powerful people, but they're not letting the power dictate terrible things for our country. They know that they're representatives of our nation, and the way they go is the way we go. So we know that he and the team are people that have been so vetted to the nth degree when it comes to someone that is on the right side of history. So we'll be seeing all of these great people soon. We'll bring that to you as soon as we get that live feed from the White House. It's 11:26, bottom of the hour. A number of people on Truth Social asked me, what time is the cabinet meeting? And I said 11 a.m. Well, to those of you few that mentioned that on Truth Social, I'm going with our live footage here. So we knew that there was on the president's public schedule, it did say 11 a.m. Eastern. But as you know, it started at 11 a.m. But the thing is when it comes to the live feeds, as I'm learning here, that it's not just a live feed all the time. There's sometimes where it's a live, it's a recording of the actual event, and then they'll play it back for us here at the network. As soon as we get it, we then air it here, and that's how you see the moments ago part. So just being transparent on how this all works, so you know that we're not just saying, hey, come watch us, and then we're not going to show you what we said we're going to show you. You know what I mean? So anyway. No other network right now having that cabinet feed at all, because it's not live. It'll be replayed, and we'll go to it as soon as we get it here at the network. All right, so it's the bottom of the hour. We're going to go to a commercial break. Again, in the middle of any commercials here at the network, if there's a live feed that comes through or a replay, we can still cut through and share that with you here at the network. So let's go to a commercial. This is RSBN Live. Thanks for flying solo with us here today. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Families across the nation have arrived at a heartbreaking crossroad to surrender their beloved animals at alarming rates due to inflation and soaring costs of living.
There are so many overcrowded shelters. So many dogs need a home, but it's all of us working together to solve this crisis.
This fight requires both doers and dollars. Join us at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Please sign up today.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez, awaiting the feed from the White House there with the cabinet room. Libs of TikTok on X saying, breaking news, President Trump orders massive federal downsizing. Agencies must submit reorganization plans by March 13th to cut wasteful programs and unnecessary roles. Key sectors like law enforcement, border security, and defense are exempt. The full implementation is expected by September 30th of 2025. They also have the U.S. Office of Management and Budget memorandum here talking about the federal government is costly, inefficient, and deeply in debt. At the same time, it is not producing results for the American people. Instead, tax dollars are being siphoned off to fund unproductive and unnecessary programs that benefit radical interest groups while hurting hardworking American citizens. So that there from the libs of TikTok as we monitor various confirmed reports that are out there, including the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education in Massachusetts actually sent a letter to schools stating that they will continue pushing inclusivity and affirming practices in support of gender ideology. The state should be stripped of their education funds. That report there from libs of TikTok as well. So following various things going on out there along the social media world as it's 11:34 a.m. And producer, you said Angel Pace, is that correct? All right, let's go to angelpace.com. Angelpace.com out of Spring, Texas. A lot of great military veterans making this awesome product as well. Angel Pace Miracle Cream. So that's what is hired there. A lot of our great military vets out of Spring, Texas as well. This corporation, this company, you can get a percentage off by going to angelpaste.com. A lot of great reviews. If you go to that website, you can check it out for yourself. Also, a great gift as well, so you can check it out. Angelpaste.com, the miracle cream. You can experience the miracle of angelpaste.com. There you go. A great sponsor at the network. 11:35 Eastern Time. We're told the president will be signing some executive orders today as well, a bit later today. So the public schedule says 3 o'clock. So what we're finding is, though the schedule says specific times, hence this morning, the 11 a.m. cabinet meeting, well, he will have a meeting around then, which I believe started already at 11. But the live feed, there was no live feed for that. So what we're going to do is get a recorded feed. So that means as soon as they're done with the cabinet meeting, we'll get a feed of the entire cabinet meeting here at the network, and then we will replay that for you. And of course, if you ever miss any kind of live event or a recorded event, you could always check out our Rumble channels, our YouTube page, and other places. Of course, our website, rsbnetwork.com. Our app, you can always monitor things. On Truth Social, you can watch live as well. So there's a lot of different places to catch all of our coverage. Grateful that you're able to have all of these options out there. And if you'd like to donate to the network at all, obviously our great sponsorship assists in a major part of our network. But since it is free to watch us, right? So you don't have to pay a cable fee or anything like that. It is free on the internet, and as you guys have known since 2015, and many loyal viewers out there, many people in the chats. I remember just yesterday just asking which states you guys are watching from, and I was telling my wife earlier, I was saying I couldn't believe it. I mean, these were people from everywhere in the country. Literally, I saw at least 30 states just yesterday when I said that. So you guys, it's really about all of us together bringing this true narrative and the common sense reporting that you're seeing here at the network, not only with Washington, D.C., but also any breaking news that happens, and also any trips around the world when it comes to our dignitaries. We have that here for you at Right Side. So all you have to do is text RSBN to 801-801. So just in the top spot of your screen there, you type 801-801, of course, and text RSBN to that number. And then if you'd like to donate, whether it's $1, $5, 15, whatever works, because at the end of the day, obviously it takes finances to continue the operations here at the network. So if you love and appreciate Right Side Broadcasting Network, and even though sometimes we say it's 11 o'clock for this cabinet meeting and we're not getting a feed yet, just like any network, again, I looked at some of the other places to watch out there, and they don't have a feed either because it's not live right now. We'll be sending that replay to you. But if you just love our network and want to see us continue to grow, which I have seen a number of you say great things on various social media platforms and in those chats on Rumble and YouTube, saying you want to see this network grow and become a major news channel, and we're seeing that one step at a time as we cover the president, but also as we cover America First stories and breaking news out there. And we've got some great hosts here, of course, with Robert McNeely and Ashley Brassfield, Christina Loren, and others. As we continue to grow, you can help us do that by just texting RSBN to 801-801. All right, so 11:38 in the morning. Also, real quick, a shout out to everybody behind the scenes at the network as well. All of the live feeds, there's a lot going on, and we're all kind of figuring it all out, but we're seeing it come together when it comes to all of the live coverage that you guys have been growing accustomed to seeing over the years. Of course, we are your #1 network for rally coverage, live events, and now we step into this newer role of live footage from Washington, D.C. and also around the country when it comes to breaking news. So thank you for being a part of that with us, and also a shout out to everybody that works here at the network. All right, so 11:39 a.m., we will be going to the White House here as soon as we get that feed. So also, I've said this twice before, but for those of you that are just joining us, go ahead and try this if you'd like. Take your iPhone. If you're watching on your phone, you might have to use somebody else's phone. But if you type a message to somebody and type in the word President Trump, and if you don't capitalize the T, it stays lowercase. But if you said something about President Clinton or Obama or even the great President George Washington, and you didn't capitalize the last name, it automatically does that on the iPhone for you. But for President Trump's name, it doesn't do that. I just find that interesting, to keep his name lowercase, President Trump. I know it might be a very small, minute thing, but I just find it fascinating because we see that President Trump is, talking about Apple a lot on Truth Social as well, getting rid of DEI and that kind of thing. And not saying it was somebody that was DEI that did that, but there's a reason why every president that I've typed in there it pops up to a uppercase. And for President Trump, it stays lowercase. So you'll see what I'm saying. If you try and text somebody, type President Trump, you'll see what I'm saying. All right, anyway, 11:40 Eastern as we continue our news of the day. Again, latest on the confirmation process of cabinet members. It looks like there are now only 3 that have to be voted on and confirmed, because today the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer is next in line to be confirmed and voted for. The others are the U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Elise Stefanik, the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, and the Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez de Reamer. So once those 3 are done, then all cabinet positions are filled. Again, today, a reporter asked President Trump yesterday, is Elon going to be at today's cabinet meeting? Well, he sure is. The lead of the Department of Government Efficiency will be there in the room. So quite an awesome room of people, and we're going to see that once we get that feed here at the network. Also, the president on Air Force One recently, again, saying we're looking at corruption all over the place, taking place. So as we see that corruption get taken away, that becomes more of a healthy country, and we also keep all of our great strengths that we have in this nation based in the Constitution. So this on the heels of President Trump and his team working on stopping the Ukraine-Russia war. This on the heels of having peace deals happen where hostages are released with the situation with Israel and Hamas. So there's so much going on, and as you guys know, pick a topic. I mean, you know how you have conversations at the water cooler? Man, those conversations have gone to a new level. All right, let's go now to the cabinet room in Washington, D.C.
Let's see how it works. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, and we've put together a great cabinet, and we've had tremendous success. And we've been given a lot of credit for having a very successful first month, and we want to make that many months and years, actually. But we're going to have many good months, and we're going to have many good years, I hope, and we're going to solve a lot of problems. We're doing very well with Russia, Ukraine. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things. And as you know, we're in for probably $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. And that's a big difference. So we're in for probably 3 times as much, and yet it's very important to everybody, but Europe's very close. We have a big ocean separating us, so it's very important for Europe, and they hopefully will step up and do maybe more than they're doing, and maybe a lot more. The previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get our money back, and we're going to get a lot of money in the future, and I think that's appropriate because we have taxpayers that shouldn't be footing the bill, and they shouldn't be footing the bill at more than the Europeans are paying. So it's all been worked out. We're happy about it, and I think that very importantly, we're going to be able to make a deal. Most importantly, by far, we're going to make a deal with Russia and Ukraine to stop killing people. They'll stop killing young Russian soldiers and young Ukrainian soldiers and other people in addition in the towns and cities. And we will consider that a very important thing and a big accomplishment, because it was going nowhere until this administration came in. They hadn't spoken to President Putin in 2 years, and so we'll keep you advised. Before we begin the cabinet, I'd like to have Scott and a couple of people say a few things, but most importantly, where are you? This is a gentleman who's going places, the head of HUD, and he's going to say, you all know him, and you're going to say grace, and then we'll have our meeting, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this awesome privilege, Father, to be in your presence. God, thank you that you've allowed us to see this day. The Bible says that your mercies are new every morning. And Father God, we give you the glory and the honor. Thank you, God, for President Trump, Father, for appointing us. Father God, thank you for anointing us to do this job. Father, we pray you'll give the President, the Vice President wisdom, Father God, as they lead. Father, I pray for all of my colleagues that are here around the table and in this room. Lord God, we pray that we would lead with a righteous clarity. Father God, that as we serve the people of this country in every prospective agency, every job that we have, Father, we would humble ourselves before you, and we would lead in the manner that you've called us to lead and to serve. Father, the Bible says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Well, Father, we today honor you, and in your rightful place, Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to restore faith in this country and be a blessing to the people of America. And Lord God, today in our meeting, we pray that you would be glorified in our conversation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Scott, that was a very good job you did. You've done that before, haven't you? So Scott Turner's a terrific young guy. He's heading up HUD, and he's going to make us all very proud, right?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Great job. In just over 1 month, illegal border crossings have plummeted by numbers that nobody's actually ever seen before. It's much more than 100%. And we've unleashed American energy at levels that will soon be reported. But we think we're going to get it going very quickly. We have incredible people on the energy front. I think we have really great people on every front. I'll let you know if they're not good, but I think they really are. And we're fighting every day to get the prices down. The inflation is stopping slowly, but part of the reason it's stopping is because of high interest rates and other problems that we inherited. But we have to get the prices down, not the inflation down, the prices of eggs and various other things. Eggs are a disaster. The Secretary of Agriculture is going to be showing you a chart that's actually mind-boggling what's happened, how low they were with us and how high they are now. But I think we can do something about it, Madam Secretary, and I think you're going to do a fantastic job in that position. One of the most important initiatives is Doge, and we have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're looking to get it maybe to $1 trillion. If we can do that, we're going to start getting to be at a point where we can think in terms of balancing budgets, believe it or not, something you haven't heard in many, many years, decades actually. And it's a big, whether it's this year or next year, I think we'll be very close to balancing budgets. And the Doge is very important. And Elon is here to give you a summary of what's happening, some of the things they found, some of the horrible things they found, some of the theft and fraud, and we call it waste and abuse, but a lot of fraud, and probably some fraud that we're not going to be able to prove is fraud, but when you hear the names and the places where this money's going, it's a disgrace. But we've requested that a lot of people, we want to make sure that the people are working, so letters were sent out, and I think everyone at this table is very much behind it, and if they aren't, I want them to speak up, but they're very much behind it. Letters were sent out to people just to find out if the people exist. Do they work? Who do they work for? Where are they? You know, where have they been working? Have they been working for other companies or other entities at all, or being paid by the government? So they have 2 jobs, but they're supposed to have 1. And the letter asks some simple questions like, what have you done lately? And if they can answer that, because I can tell you everything I've done for the last long period of time, a lot more than a week. And in many cases, we haven't gotten responses, usually that means that maybe that person doesn't exist or that person doesn't want to say they're working for another company while being paid by the United States government. So there's a lot of interesting things. It's very unique, but we have a very unique situation because we have a lot of people that were scamming our country. We have a lot of dishonest people. We have a lot of people that took advantage of a lot of different situations, and we're not going to let that happen. So I'm going to ask if it's possible to have Elon get up first and talk about Doge, because it seems to be of great interest to everyone. I will say that there is a large group of people in this country that have such admiration for what we're doing. I got elected with a tremendous vote, winning every swing state, winning the popular vote, winning the counties by thousands of counties. I think it was 2,800 to 500. 2,800 counties to 500 counties. Think of that. And so we have a mandate to do this, and this is part of the reason I got elected. I got elected based on taxes and based on many things in the border, but also based on balancing budgets and getting our country back into shape, and this is a big part of it. So Elon, if you could get up and explain where you are, how you're doing, and how much we're cutting, and it's an honor to have you. He's been a tremendously successful guy. He's really working so hard, and he's got businesses to run. And in many ways they say, how do you do this? And, you know, he's sacrificing a lot and getting a lot of praise, I'll tell you, but he's also getting hit, and we would expect that, and that's the way it works. So I'd like to have Elon Musk please say a few words.
Well,
thank you, Elon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a humble tech support here because this is actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal description of the work that the Doge team is doing, is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually tech support. It's ironic, but it's true. The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing; it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here, and taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats. By the way, I mean, I like to stack them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done. And I'm confident at this point, knock on wood, you know, knock on my wooden head. There's got a lot of wood up there, that we can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. And obviously that can only be done with the support of everyone in this room. And I'd like to thank everyone for your support. Thank you very much. This can only be done with your support. So it's really, Doge is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste. And we bring the receipts. So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect. But when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola, Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September. But we can do it, and we will do it. Thank you.
Would you have any questions of Elon while we're on the subject of Doge? Because we'll finish that. And if you would have any questions, please ask. You could ask me or Elon. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Musk. I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Maybe you want to let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, well, throw them out of here. Is anybody unhappy? We have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled. So go ahead, Elon.
President Trump has put together, I think, the best cabinet ever. Literally. So, and I do not give false praise. This is an incredible group of people. I don't think that such a talented team has actually ever been assembled. I think it's literally the best cabinet that the country has ever had, and I think the company should be incredibly appreciative of the people in this room.
Thank you. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Musk. Are there about half of the government employees so far appear to have responded to your request for what they've been doing over the past week? Is there a timeline in place for next moves for people being fired, and when can the American people expect to see results of that?
Yes. Well, to be clear, I think that email perhaps was best interpreted as a performance review, but it was a pulse check review. Do you have a pulse? Do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? So if you have a pulse and 2 neurons, you can reply to an email. This is, I think not a high bar, is what I'm saying. This is anyone can accomplish this. But what we are trying to get to the bottom of is we think there are a number of people on the government payroll who are dead, which is probably why they can't respond. And some people who are not real people, like they're literally fictional individuals that are collecting paychecks. Well, somebody's collecting paychecks on a fictional individual. So we're just literally trying to figure out, are these people real? Are they alive? And can they write an email? Which I think is a reasonable expectation for the American public would have at least that expectation of someone in the public sector.
Mr. Musk, roughly 1 million employees.
It's not a high bar, guys. Come on.
1 million employees have responded so far to this email. Does that mean that the remaining 1 million or so federal employees now risk being terminated? And is it your understanding and expectation when you post a directive on X that the cabinet secretaries will follow that order? Because several agencies have instructed employees that this is voluntary or not to respond.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was like last week, the President encouraged me via Truth Social and also via phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President, we will indeed do that. The President is the Commander-in-Chief. I do what the President asks. And I said, can we send out an email to everyone just saying, what did you get done last week? And the President said yes, so it did that. We got a partial response. We're going to send another email. But our goal is not to be capricious or unfair. We want to give people every opportunity to send an email. And the email could simply be, what I'm working on is too sensitive or classified to describe. Like literally just, that would be sufficient. I think this is just common sense.
And what is your target number for how many employees you're looking to cut total?
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not be on the public payroll.
I'd like to add, wait a minute. I'd like to add those 1 million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. They haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here. But those people are on the bubble, as they say. Maybe they're going to be gone. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they have other jobs. Maybe they moved and they're not where they're supposed to be. A lot of things could have happened. I wouldn't say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before, wasted money. The Green New Scam, all of the different things they spent money on. And you've seen that. You've seen that with some of the things that I read at speeches. I read them and people can't believe when I read them. 20 million here, 30 million here for, you know, a little educational course on something. Circumcision, right? Circumcision. $20 million to inform the people of such and such a country on other things and other things other than that. So, yeah, those people are, right now we're trying to find out who those people are that haven't responded. Now, there'll be some agencies, like Marco has people within state that are right now doing very classified, very confidential work, and we understand that, and we've talked, and, you know, we're being a little more surgical. And Marco's doing a lot of things himself. He's and some of the secretaries are. We're going to be going to them. We're going to be talking about it today. We're going to ask them to do their own Doge. In other words, they'll look in their group and who I spoke with Lee Zeldin, and he thinks he's going to be cutting 65% or so of the people from environmental, and we're going to speed up the process too. At the same time, you had a lot of people that weren't doing their job. They were just obstructionists, and a lot of people that didn't exist, I guess, Lee, too. You found a lot of empty spots. The people weren't there. They didn't exist. And I think education is going to be one of those. You go around Washington, you see all these buildings for the Department of Education. We want to move education back to the states where it belongs. Iowa should have education. Indiana should run their own education. You're going to see education go way up. Right now, we're ranked at the very bottom of the list. But we're at the top of the list in one thing, the cost per pupil. We spend more money per pupil than any other country in the world. And yet it's Denmark and Norway, Sweden, and I hate to say this, and you know, we're going to get along very well with China, but it's a competitor. They're at the top of the list. They're among the top 10, usually, and they're a very big country, so we can't use that as an excuse, right? Because we're a very big country too, but we were ranked last time under Biden. We were ranked 40 out of 40. They do the 40 certain nations that they've done for a long time. It seems to be 40 for whatever reason, and we were ranked number 40. A year ago we were 38. Then we were 39. We hit 40, and so we're last in that, and we're first in cost per pupil. So I would say that's unacceptable. Lawrence, you have something?
So, Mr. President, I know you like competition, and I know it's early, so which department are you most impressed with? And then to Mr. Musk, that's the first one. Mr. Musk, which department have you received the most resistance from? Mr. President,
well, I think both of those questions are a little bit... well, you're a pretty controversial guy. Look, it's very early. Right now, I think I'm impressed with everybody. So far, everybody. If I wasn't in the first month, and some of them just got here. They just got approved 2 days ago, right? But I think I'm very impressed with everybody. So far, I'm very happy with all of the choices. I think that Elon has done incredibly with some groups, and some groups are much easier than others. It is true. State is a, very difficult situation. We're right now negotiating very successfully, I think, with Russia and with Ukraine, and we have a lot of countries involved, and we have to be a little bit careful what we do and who we're terminating. But Marco is doing that I think he's going to be very precise. It's going to be, we're cutting down government. We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated. We're sloppy. We have a lot of people that aren't doing their job. We have a lot of people that don't exist. You look at Social Security as an example. I mean, you have so many people in Social Security where, if you believe it, they're 200 years old. And what we're doing is finding out, are checks going out for that? And is somebody cashing those checks who's maybe 35 years old, okay? So there's a lot of dishonesty, there's a lot of fraud. But I think at this moment, I'll take Elon off the spot. I think that he's impressed. He said it very well, better than I can say it, that he's impressed with the people in this room, very impressed. And I am too, and it's too early to say, but I think everybody's on board. They all know. We want to balance a budget. We want to have a balanced budget within a reasonably short period of time, meaning maybe by next year or the year after, but maybe maybe even sooner than that.
Mr. President, your number one issue was the border. We just got new information that they're doxing our federal agents. They're putting their personal information out there, these activists, and they're disrupting the operation. So you got Trinidad Aga running all
Well, we
across
have
the country.
activists, that's true. And
So
a lot
what
of
are we
those-
going to do about the activists?
Yeah, a lot of those activists are acting illegally, and we'll give that to our Attorney General, and she'll take a look at that very strongly. But we also having tremendous support from Border Patrol, from ICE. The ICE agents have been unbelievable. Border Patrol, their leadership at Border Patrol has been incredible, and they're working very well. And as you know, and I saw you reporting it this morning, actually, we set records on the least number of illegal aliens coming in, migrants coming into our country that we've had in more than 50 years. And we did this all within a period of weeks because we took over a mess. The world was pouring in. And remember, they were coming in from jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, and they were gang members and drug dealers. Anybody wanted to come in, they came. And from not just South America, from all over the world. So it's amazing what they've done. And Christie and Tom Holman, the job they've done has been absolutely amazing. We set records for and we want people to come into our country, by the way, but they want to come in, they have to come in legally. I want that to be really understood. We want people in our country, but they have to come in legally.
Can I follow on that, Mr. President, about the Trump Gold Card idea that you unveiled yesterday?
I hope you like it.
I await more information, but the question is, does this reflect a view on your part that the American immigration system has never been properly monetized as you feel it should be?
Well, not so much monetized. It hasn't been properly run. I get calls from, as an example, companies where they want to hire the number one student at a school. A person comes from India, China, Japan, lots of different places, and they go to Harvard, the Wharton School of Finance, they go to Yale, they go to all great schools, and they graduate number one in their class. And they're made job offers, but the offer is immediately rescinded because you have no idea whether or not that person can stay in the country. I want to be able to have that person stay in the country. These companies can go and buy a gold card, and they can use it as a matter of recruitment. At the same time, the company is using that money to pay down debt. We're going to pay down a lot of debt with that. And I think the gold card is going to be used by, not only for that, I mean, they'll be used by companies. I mean, I could see Apple. I've spoken with Tim Cook, and by the way, he's going to make a $500 billion investment in the country only because of the results of the election. And I think because of tariffs. He's going to want to be in the country because of tariffs. Because if you're in the country, there is no tariff. If you're out of the country, you got to pay tariffs. And that's going to be a great investment, I think, that he's making. I know it's going to be a great investment. But we have to be able to get people in the country, and we want people that are productive people. And I will tell you, the people that can pay $5 million, they're going to create jobs. They're going to spend a lot of money on jobs. They're going to have to pay taxes on that too. So they're going to be hiring people. They're going to be bringing people in and companies in. And I don't know, maybe it will sell like crazy. I happen to think it's going to sell like crazy. It's a bargain. But we'll know fairly soon. I think Howard and Scott, a few of you really are responsible for it. But Howard, if you want to discuss that for a couple of minutes, I think I'd like to have you. I think it's going to be a very successful program. This is commerce.
So the EB-5 program, which has been around for many years, had investment of $1 million into projects in America. And those projects were often suspect. They didn't really work out. There wasn't any oversight of it. And so for $1 million investment, you got a visa and then you came into the country and ended up with a green card. So it was poorly overseen, poorly executed. Then you had our border open where millions of people came through. So the idea is we will have a proper business. We will modify the EB-5 agreement. Christy and I are working on it together. For $5 million, they'll get a license from the Department of Commerce. Then they'll make a proper investment on the EB-5, right? And we think Scott and I will design the EB-5 investment model because Scott and I are the best people together to do that. So this is joint. This is exactly the Trump administration. We all work together. We work it out to be the best. And if we sell Just remember, 200,000. There's a line for EB-5 of 250,000 right now. 200,000 of these gold green cards is $1 trillion to pay down our debt. And that's why the president is doing it, because we are going to balance this budget and we are going to pay off the debt under President Trump.
And to qualify, do you have to promise and make commitments to create a certain number of jobs here in the U.S.?
No, because not all these people are going to be job builders. There'll be successful people, or there'll be people that were hired from colleges, like sort of like paying an athlete a bonus. I mean, Apple or one of the companies will go out and they'll spend they'll buy 5 of them and they're going to get 5 people. Look, I've had the complaint from a lot of companies where they go out to hire people and they can't hire them out of colleges. And you know what they do? They go back to India, or they go back to the country where they came, and they open up a company, and they become billionaires. And they're employing thousands and thousands. There are a lot of examples. There are some really big examples where they were forced out of the country. They graduated top in their class at a great school, and they weren't able to stay. This is all the time you hear it. And the biggest complaint I get from companies, other than over-regulation, which we took care of, but we're going to have to take care of it here because a lot of that was put back on by Biden. But the biggest complaint is the fact that they can't have any longevity with people. This way they have pretty much unlimited longevity. Also with the 5 million, that's a path to citizenship. So that's going to be, it's sort of a green card plus, and it's a path to citizenship. We're going to call it the gold card. And I think it's going to be very treasured. I think it's going to do very well. And we're going to start selling, hopefully, in about 2 weeks. Now, just so you understand, if we sell 1 million, right, 1 million, that's $5 trillion. 5 trillion. Howard was using a different number, but that's $5 trillion. If we sell 10 million, which is possible, 10 million highly productive people coming in, or people that we're going to make productive, they'll be young, but they're talented, like a talented athlete. That's $50 trillion. That means our debt is totally paid off, and we have $15 trillion above that. And now I don't know that we're going to sell that many. Maybe we won't sell many at all, but I think we're going to sell a lot, because I think there really is a thirst. No other country can do this, because people don't want to go to other countries. They want to come here. Everybody wants to come here, especially since November 5th.
Mr. President, how can you
By the way, all these people will be vetted. Okay?
Mr.
Will be
President,
vetted.
of Ukraine, can you talk a little bit about what type of security guarantees you're willing to make?
Well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that, because it's we're talking about Europe is their next door neighbor. But we're going to make sure everything goes well. And as you know, we'll be really partnering with Ukraine in terms of rare earth. We very much need rare earth. They have great rare earth. We'll be working with Secretary Burgum and with Chris. You'll be working on that together. And we're going to be able to have tremendous, this gives us, because we don't have that much of it here. We have some, but we don't have that much, and we need a lot more to really propel us to the next level to lead in every way. We're leading right now with AI. We're leading with everything right now, but we need resources. We have to double our electric capacity. We have to do many things. We have to really triple, if you think of it, the electric capacity from what we have right now, if you can believe it. So I just say this. The deal we're making gets us, it brings us great wealth. We get back the money that we've spent, and we hope that we're going to be able to settle this up. We want to settle it. We want to stop. I tell you what, I'm doing it for 2 reasons, but the number one reason by far is to watch all these people being killed. I see pictures every week from, I assume satellite pictures mostly, but there's some pictures on site of thousands of soldiers that are being killed. They're being decimated because equipment today, military equipment, is so powerful and so devastating. And number one, I want to see people stop. And they're not from here. They're from primarily 2 other countries. And then, by the way, let's talk about the Middle East. We got to solve that problem too. And that's come a long way. We're doing very well in that also. A lot of things are happening on that. But I'm watching soldiers being killed, Ukrainian and Russian soldiers being killed. My number one thing is to get that stopped. My number 2 thing is I don't want to have to pay any more money. because Biden has spent $350 billion without any chance of getting it back. Now we're going to be getting all of that money back plus a lot more. And we provided a great thing. I mean, we provided something very important. And we'll be working with Ukraine, and because we'll be taking that, we're going to be taking what we're entitled to take. Now, they spent $350 billion, and Europe spent $100 billion. Now, does anybody really think that's fair? But then we find out a little while ago, not so long ago, a few months ago, I found out that the money they spent, they get back. But the money we spent, we don't get back. I said, well, we're going to get it back. And we'll be able to make a deal. And again, President Zelensky's coming to sign the deal. And it's a great thing. It's a great deal for Ukraine, too, because they get us over there, and we're going to be working over there. We'll be on the land. And, you know, in that way, there's sort of automatic security, because nobody's going to be messing around with our people when we're there. And so we'll be there in that way. But Europe will be watching it very closely. I know that UK has said, and France has said, that they volunteered to put so-called peacekeepers on the site, and I think that's a good thing.
Mr. President, you have mentioned the high cost of eggs, and we've seen consumer confidence this week have a sharp drop from last month, the biggest dip in, I believe, 3 years. Why is that, your assessment? Why is that the case, and is there anything you can do?
I think that consumer confidence, if you look at confidence in the nation, it had the biggest increase in the history of the chart. It went up 42 points in a period of like days after the election, since the election. So since the election, the confidence in our nation, including right track, wrong track, the first time it's ever happened where we were on the right track, because this country has been on the wrong track for a long time. So the confidence in business, confidence in the country has reached an all-time high. We have never reached levels like we are right now. Okay.
Mr. President, you've been very clear in saying that as long as you're president, Iran will never get a nuclear weapon.
That's true.
Is it also your policy that as long as you're president, China will never take Taiwan by force?
I never comment on that. I don't comment on anything because I don't want to ever put myself in that position. And if I said it, I certainly wouldn't be saying it to you. I'd be saying it to other people, maybe people around this table, and very specific people around this table. So I don't want to put myself in that position. But I can tell you what, I have a great relationship with President Xi. I've had a great relationship with him. We want them to come in and invest. I see so many things saying that we don't want China in this country. That's not right. We want them to invest in the United States. That's good. That's a lot of money coming in, and we'll invest in China. We'll do things with China. The relationship we'll have with China will be a very good one. I see all of these phony reports that we don't want their money, we don't want anything to do with them. That's wrong. We're going to have a good relationship with China, but they won't be able to take advantage of us. What they did to Biden was, he didn't know what was happening. He didn't know what he was doing. The administration didn't know what they were doing. It was very sad to watch. But we're going to have a good relationship with China and Russia and Ukraine and the Middle East. We're doing things that, look, when I left, we had no wars. We had defeated ISIS totally. We had no inflation. We didn't have the Afghanistan withdrawal, the worst withdrawal anybody's ever seen. I think that's one of the reasons that President Putin looked at that. He said, wow, these guys are a paper tiger. Look at it. We're no paper tiger. Don't forget, we got rid of ISIS in 3 weeks. People said it would take 5 years. We did it because when I came in, I let them do what they had to do. And the man that headed that operation is now going to be your chairman, right?
Yes,
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Yes, sir. And Raisin Kane. I liked him right from the beginning. As soon as I heard his name, I said, that's my guy. Okay. Any other questions?
Decreases in crossings at the border for you to continue the pause on tariffs against Mexico and Canada? And
No,
if
no,
not,
I'm not stopping the tariffs. No. Millions of people have died because of the fentanyl that comes over the border.
even with the 90% drop in border crossings, though, last month compared to about a year ago?
Yeah, they've been good, but that's also due to us, mostly due to us. I mean, it's very hard. It's right now very hard to come through the border. But the damage has been done. We've lost millions of people due to fentanyl. It comes mostly from China, but it comes through Mexico and it comes through Canada. And I have to tell you that, on April 2nd, I was going to do it on April 1st, but I'm a little bit superstitious, so I made it April 2nd. The tariffs go on, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I think you're going to see something that's going to be amazing. We've been taken advantage of as a country for a long period of time. We've been tariffed, but we didn't tariff. Now, I did when I was here. We took in $700 billion from China. $700 billion. Not one president in the history of our country took in 10 cents from China. At the same time, China respected us. Now, when COVID came in, that was a different deal. I used to call it the China virus. I guess I can call it the China virus again, but it's an accurate term, but I won't do that out of respect to China.
Immigration enforcement.
Say it again.
On Gaza, I just wondered if there's any progress towards a second phase of the ceasefire.
Well, I'm very disappointed when I see four bodies came in today. These are young people. Young people don't die, okay? Young people don't die. These are young people. 4 bodies came in today. They think they're doing us a favor by sending us bodies. So, look, that's a decision that has to be made by Israel, by Bibi. But Israel has to make that decision. We got a lot of hostages back. But it's very sad what happened to those people. I mean, you had a young lady with her hand practically blown off. You know why it blew up? Because she put up her hand to try and stop a bullet that was coming her way. And it hit her hand and blew off her fingers, big part of her hand. This is a vicious group of people. And Israel's going to have to decide what they're doing. Phase 1 is going to be ending. Think of it, today they sent in 4 bodies. Bodies! And I will say one thing, though. I've spoken to a lot of the parents and a lot of the people involved. They want those bodies almost as much and maybe even just as much as they wanted their son or their daughter. Amazing. Please, sir, please. My son is dead, but they have his body. Please, can you get it for us? It's the biggest thing. It's incredible, the level. They want the bodies of these people. They're dead. They're dead. And when I saw the ones that came in 2 weeks ago, they looked like they just got out of a concentration camp. Then the following week, a group came in and they weren't as bad and as bad a shape. But Israel's going to have to make a decision. You're right, phase 1 and now phase 2 has started. And today we got some, very, very, we knew they were dead, by the way. We knew that they were going to be bodies as opposed to people that were living. But a very sad situation. At some point, somebody's going to say, we got to do something about this.
Mr. President, you were just talking about Afghanistan and the botched withdrawal. Have all the generals or command staff that were involved with the withdrawal been fired or relieved of duty?
Well, that's a great idea. I'm not going to tell this man what to do, but I will say that. If I had his place, I'd fire every single one of them, Pete. That's a very good question.
Well, it's a question we've thought a lot about. We're doing a complete review of every single aspect of what happened with the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan and plan to have full accountability. It's one of the first things we announced at the Defense Department for that reason, sir. Certainly, General Raisin Kane, who's on his way in, was not a part of that. Instead, was a part of leading the effort against ISIS by untying the hands of warfighters and finishing the job properly and then bringing our troops home. So we're taking a very different view, obviously, than the previous administration, and there will be full accountability.
I don't see big promotions in that group, and I think they're going to be largely gone. I know the man on my left. I think they're going to be largely gone. That was a horrible display, and I've dealt with the parents and the family of the 13 that were killed, but nobody ever talks about the 40 that were so badly hurt with the arms and the legs and the face and the whole thing, the missing arms and legs. It was so terrible the way that was handled, and it should have been gone through Bagram. We have a big base with big fences and nobody can get in, and you have hundreds of acres instead of a little local airport where the whole place went crazy. That was so badly handled, and I would think that most of those people are going to be gone.
Are we going to take Bagram back?
So I'll tell you what has bothered me very much, very, very much. We give billions of dollars to Afghanistan. Nobody knows that. Nobody knew that. Do you know we give billions of dollars to Afghanistan? And yet we left behind all of that equipment, which wouldn't have happened. We were getting out under me. I'm the one that got it down to 5,000 people. We were going to get out, but we were going to keep Bagram, not because of Afghanistan, but because of China, because it's exactly 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear missiles. So we're going to keep Bagram. We were going to keep a small force on Bagram. We're going to have Bagram Air Base, one of the biggest air bases in the world, one of the biggest runways, one of the most powerful runways in the sense that it was very heavy concrete and steel. You could carry about anything. You could land anything on those runways. We gave it up. And you know who's occupying it right now? China. Biden gave it up. So we're going to keep that, and we're going to have a withdrawal, and we're going to take our equipment. We're going to do it properly. We're going to do it we're going to keep the equipment. Well, they ran out. It was, what happened there was, in fact, you know, in all fairness to Putin, when he saw that, he said, well, this is our time to go into Ukraine, I guess, because it was, the timing seemed to be about right. But we send them billions of dollars in aid, which nobody knows. If the American public knew that, they know it now. And if we're doing that, I think they should give our equipment back. And I told Pete to study that. But we left billions, tens of billions of dollars worth of equipment behind. Brand new trucks. You see them display it every year, or their little roadway someplace where they have a road and they drive waving the flag and talking about America. Beautiful equipment that's the top of the line stuff, brand new stuff. Now it's getting older. But you know what? We're going to pay them. I think we should get a lot of that equipment back. You know that Afghanistan is one of the biggest sellers of military equipment in the world. You know why? They're selling the equipment that we left. We're first. They were second or third. Can you believe it? They're selling 777,000 rifles, 70,000 armor-plated. Many of them were armor-plated trucks and vehicles. 70,000. If you think of a used car lot, the biggest one in the country, if I would say, JD, if somebody had 500 cars, that would be a lot. This is 70,000 vehicles we had there, and we left it for them. I think we should get it back.
Mr. President, the spending bill that passed last night aims to cut $2 trillion.
Right.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question. Okay? This will not be read my lips. It won't be read my lips anymore. We're not going to touch it. Now, we are going to look for fraud. I'm sure you're okay with that, like people that shouldn't be on. People that are illegal aliens and others, criminals in many cases, and that's with Social Security. We have a lot of people. You see that immediately when you see people that are 200 years old that are being sent checks for Social Security. Some of them are actually being sent checks, so we're tracing that down, and I have a feeling that Pam is going to do a very good job with that. But you have a lot of fraud. But no, I'm not. We're not doing anything on this.
Mr. President, part of your mission, sir, part of your mission has been. Thank you. I'm sorry. Part of your mission has been to restore executive control over the executive branch. Is it your view of your authority that you have the power to call up any one of or all of the people seated at this table and issue orders that they're bound to follow?
Oh yeah, they'll follow the orders. Yes, they will.
No exceptions.
No exception. Well, let's see. Let me think. Oh yeah. She'll have an exception. Of course, no exceptions. You know that.
Mr. President, can you clarify the Canada-Mexico tariffs? You had put that 30-day pause, but you just referred to April.
25%.
25%. When does it go into effect?
April 2nd.
April 2nd for Canada-Mexico.
Correct. And for everything.
Well, we have the fentanyl-related is a pause. If they can prove to the president they've done an excellent job, that's what they first do in 30 days.
Have you guys seen any
but then the overall is April 2nd. So the big transaction is April 2nd, but the fentanyl-related things, they're working hard on the border. At the end of that 30 days, they have to prove to the president that they've satisfied him to that regard. If they have, then he'll give them a pause, or he won't. But
It's going to be hard to
we'll see.
satisfy. We lose 300,000 people a year to fentanyl. Not 100, not 95, not 60 like you read. You know, you've been reading it for years. We lost, in my opinion, over the last couple of years, on average, maybe close to 300,000 people dead. And the families are ruined. You know, when they lose a daughter, when they lose a son, the families are never the same. You're never going to be the same. So you're talking about 1 million people. But when the daughters die, I see it, daughters die and the sons die because of fentanyl. And in some cases, they don't even know they're taking it. They're buying something else and it's laced with fentanyl and they end up dying. And I've known many people who've lost children to fentanyl, and for other reasons, but to fentanyl, it's such a big killer. And those people are never the same people. I mean, I've seen people that for the rest of their lives, they're not the same people. They're so different, it's not even believable. Dynamic people, happy people they die a miserable death. And that's because of the crap that comes in through China and through Mexico and through Canada. A lot of it comes through Canada. Look, we support Canada. $200 billion a year in subsidies one way or the other. We let them make millions of cars. We let them send us lumber. We don't need their lumber. We're going to free up our lumber. Lee's going to do that, head of environmental. We're going to free up our lumber. We have the best lumber there is. We don't need their lumber. What do we need their lumber for? When you look at we subsidize them $200 billion a year. Without us, Canada can't make it. You know, Canada relies on us 95%. We rely on them 4%. Big difference. And I say Canada should be our 51st state. There's no tariffs, no nothing. And I say that we give them military protection. They have a very small military. They spend very little money on military. On NATO, they're just about last in terms of payment because they say, why should we spend on military? That's a tremendous cost. Most nations can't afford to even think about it. Why should we spend on military? The United States protects us. And I would say that's largely true. We protect Canada, but it's not fair. It's not fair that they're not paying their way. And if they had to pay their way, they couldn't exist. When I spoke to, let's call it the Prime Minister rather than the governor, but when I spoke to him, I said, why are we giving you $200 billion a year? He was unable to answer the question. I said, why are we letting you make millions of cars and send them in? He was unable to answer the question. Justin Trudeau. Nice guy. I think he's a very good guy. I call him Governor Trudeau. He should be governor because the fact is that if we don't give them cars, we don't have to give them cars. The tariffs will make it impossible for them to sell cars into the United States. The tariffs will make it impossible for them to sell lumber or anything else into the United States. And all I'm asking to do is break even or lose a little bit, but not lose $200 billion. And we love Canada. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. And but honestly, it's not fair for us to be supporting Canada. And if we don't support them, they don't subsist as a nation. Okay?
Mr. President, on the EU tariffs, Mr. President, have you just made a decision on what level you will seek on tariffs in the European Union?
We have made a decision. We'll be announcing it very soon, and it'll be 25%, generally speaking, and that'll be on cars and all of the things. And European Union is a different case than Canada, different kind of case. They've really taken advantage of us in a different way. They don't accept our cars. They don't accept essentially our farm products. They use all sorts of reasons why not. And we accept everything of them, and we have about a $300 billion deficit with the European Union. Now, I love the countries of Europe. I guess I'm from there at some point a long time ago, right? But indirectly, pretty directly too, I guess. But I love the countries of Europe. I love all countries, frankly, all different. But the European Union's it was formed in order to screw the United States. I mean, look, let's be honest. The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
What will happen if these countries or the EU retaliate?
They can't. I mean, they can try, but they can't.
China did.
They are
imposed
pledging to,
tariffs
sir.
that went into effect. China's retaliatory tariffs on the 10th of February. Has there been any impact that you've been able to observe?
That's right. No, they can do it, and they can try, but the numbers can never equal what ours, because we can go off. We are the pot of gold. We're the one that everybody wants, and they can retaliate, but it cannot be a successful retaliation because we just go cold turkey. We don't buy anymore, and if that happens, we win.
Are you talking to Eric Prince about privatizing deportations?
No, I haven't.
Mr. President, you're in litigation with CBS News. Is this a case that you'd like to see go to trial, or are you open to
With
some
who?
CBS, that 60 Minutes?
CBS?
Yes.
Well, CBS did something that was amazing. Kamala was unable to answer a question properly, and they took the question that they asked and they inserted an answer. They gave her an answer, This was 2 days before the election, right before the Sunday night before the election. And they wrote out they put her words from another question that was asked about a half an hour later, and they put that into the question. Nobody's ever even heard of it before. Nobody's ever heard of anything like this before, but they then did it, they say, on numerous occasions. And the FCC is looking at it very strongly, and everybody's looking at it, but nobody's ever seen anything. Think of it, they took her answers and they changed them. And I don't mean they changed a word or two, or they cut off a half a sentence, or they cut off a couple of words. I mean, I've had that happen too, but that you just say, then they say, well, we want brevity. We wanted to do it for time. They took out her answer and they inserted an entirely different answer that made her sound competent. And they did this, and nobody's ever, I thought I've heard of everything when it comes to that stuff. No, I've never heard of it. Nobody's ever seen. So we sued, and we are in discussions of settlement.
What would a number be? Like 100? What's a number that you would think would be appropriate?
I think it's a lot. It probably did affect the election. I mean, we won by a lot. As I said, too big to rig. But it probably did affect the election. Probably could have won by more. But I could have lost the election because of that. We have to get to honest elections. We have to go back to paper ballots. We have to go back to voter ID. One-day election, ideally, or a short term, not these 48-day and 61-day elections where boxes are put in a room and, let's move the boxes because we're putting in a new air conditioning system. And you see the boxes move, and then you say, well, where are all the boxes? What happened to the boxes that never came back? Now, our elections are extremely dishonest. We're the only country in the world that has mail-in voting and all of these different things that we put in. No other country in the world has it. France went to, they had some of the things that we had, and they went to same-day voting, all paper. And paper is very sophisticated now. It's a very sophisticated form of voting right now. It's a very safe form of voting. The other things for the governors, I wish the governors would do it because the paper ballots will cost 9% of the machines, and they're 100%. Nothing's foolproof, but they're as close as you get. So we'll see what happens. But on the 60-minute thing, nobody's ever seen anything like it.
And would you link the FCC action to the litigation? I mean, does it make sense?
I don't think it's linked, but probably the lawyers look at it, because I know it's going along. FCC is headed by a very competent person, and you have some very competent people on the board, and so I think they're looking at it very seriously.
So of all the deals that you've done in your life, all the people you've sat across from and negotiated with, is President Putin distinct in any way?
He's a very smart guy. He's a very cunning person, but I've dealt with some people I've dealt with some really bad people. But I will tell you, as far as this is concerned, you have to understand, he had no intention, in my opinion, of settling this war. I think he wanted the whole thing. When I got elected, we spoke, and I think we're going to have a deal. I can't guarantee that. A deal is a deal. Lots of crazy things happen in deals, right? But I think we're going to have a deal. If I didn't get elected, I believe he would have just continued to go through Ukraine, and over a period of time, a lot of people would have been killed. Would have lasted for a period of time. And the reason that Ukraine, and I have great respect for the Ukraine as fighters, they're great fighters, but without our equipment, that war would have been over, like people said, in a very short period of time. And if you remember, I gave the javelins, and the javelins are the things that knocked out those tanks right at the beginning of the war. They said that Obama at the time gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. Well, I was the one that did that, but I want to see it come to an end.
Will he have to make concessions, President Putin?
Yeah, he will. He's going to have to. And I believe that because we got elected, that war will come to an end. And I also believe if we didn't get elected, if this administration didn't win the election by a lot, that war would go on for a long time, and he would want to take the whole thing. The big question I had is, does he want to take the whole thing? But the reason, and the Ukrainians are good fighters, I have to say, but without the equipment, without our equipment, we have the best equipment in the world. We have the best military equipment in the world. Without our equipment, that would have been over very quickly.
What concessions would you like to see? What concessions would you like to see?
Oh, I don't want to tell it right now, but I can tell you that NATO you can forget about. I think that's probably the reason the whole thing started. And I think, JD, we can say that. Do you have a statement on that? You've been very much involved. I gave him the beauty.
Great. Gave me the hardest question, sir. I mean, look, as the president said, we're not going to do the negotiation in public with the American media. He's going to do it in private with the president of Russia, with the president of Ukraine, and with other leaders. And I think that's how this has to go. I think I just want to push back against some of the criticism I've seen of the administration on this, because every single time the president engages in diplomacy, you guys preemptively accuse him of conceding to Russia. He hasn't conceded anything to anyone. He's doing the job of a diplomat, and he is, of course, the diplomat in chief as the President of the United States.
On the gold cards, a little bit more about the vetting process.
We'll go through a process. The process is being worked out right now, and we're going to be very careful.
Will there be restrictions on, for instance, can Chinese nationals get one? Can Iranian nationals
We're probably not going to be restricting too much in terms of countries, but maybe in terms of individuals. We want to make sure we have people that love our country and are capable of loving the country.
There's a measles outbreak in Texas at the moment in which a child is reported to have died. Do you have concerns about that, and have you asked Secretary Kennedy to look into that?
Well, why don't we... Bobby, do you want to speak on that?
No, we are following the measles epidemic every day. I think there's 124 people who have contracted measles at this point, mainly in Kings County, Texas. Mainly, we're told in the Mennonite community. There are 2 people who have died, but we're watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized, mainly for quarantine. We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
You sound a little under the weather yourself right now.
I have a permanently bad throat.
Mr. President, would you send U.S. peacekeepers to support the European peacekeepers? Would you do any sort of U.S.
No, we're going to support Europe, yeah.
And how would we do that?
We're very friendly with Europe. We have a great relationship with Europe. I mean, you could talk about France, you could talk about any of them. I mean, we have a great relationship with Europe.
But how will the United States do that? Would there be boots on?
I mean, you're asking me a question. What are we doing in the field? Let's worry. I hope we have that problem where we can worry about peacekeeping. We got to get there first. But I hope we have the problem of worrying about peacekeeping. That'll be the easiest problem, I think, JD, that we've ever had.
That would be part of the deal, presumably, that the Ukrainians would want.
We'll do it at the time. But peacekeeping is very easy. It's making the deal that's very tough. And again, nobody was speaking to Russia at all. And, probably 1.5 million soldiers have been killed, close to 1.5 million soldiers, not to mention a traumatic... I will tell you, the thing with that horrible war that should have never started, would have never started if I were president. And it didn't start for 4 years, and it was not even thought about starting. But the thing with that war is that you're highly underestimating the number of people that have been killed. Far more people have been killed in that war than you talk about. You like to talk about numbers like 1 million people. Well, they had much more than 1 million soldiers killed. But you have a lot of cities that have been knocked to the ground. They're demolition sites, literally demolition sites. Every single building is knocked to the ground. And a lot of people were killed in those buildings. And you'll hear a report, 2 people were minorly injured or just injured a little bit. No, people were killed by the thousands. And there are a lot more people killed in that war than the media wants to talk about, because Biden did a horrible, horrible job. He should have prevented that war. He could have prevented that war. Putin would have never gone in. I'll tell you one thing. He would have never gone in. That war would never have taken place if I were president.
I think what people are trying to understand, Mr. President, is how would the United States what would you be willing to do to support this European peacekeeping effort? Would there be...
Again, you're asking me the same question. How many times do you have to answer? You're talking about after we make peace. Let me make peace first. Once we make peace, I'll give you all the answers you want. But how many times can you ask the same question?
Is loosening of sanctions on Russia a potential option as part of an overall deal?
No. We have sanctions on Russia. No, I want to see if we make a deal first, but I think we will. I've had very good conversations with President Putin. I've had very good conversations with President Zelensky, and until 4 weeks ago, nobody had conversations with anybody. It wasn't even a consideration. Nobody thought you could make peace. I think you can.
But if Putin gets to keep the land that was claimed by force, if the Russians get to keep the territory that they claim by force, doesn't that send a dangerous message, let's say, to China about Taiwan?
Okay. You try and take it away, right? We're gonna do the best we can. We're gonna do the best we can to make the best deal we can for both sides. But for Ukraine, we're going to try very hard to make a good deal so that they can get as much back as possible. We want to get as much back as possible.
Mr. President, just to bring this full...
We'll cut it out after maybe this question. Go ahead.
To bring this full circle, back to a question.
You always like to finish on a good one.
Sir, they want you to negotiate with them instead of with President Putin.
Back to a question
about the peacekeepers. You have a lot of confidence in us because you assume there's going to be peace. You know, it's possible it doesn't work out. There is possibility. But I hope it does for the sake of humanity, because if you look at the pictures that I've looked at, you don't want to look at them. Go ahead.
I had a question back on these cuts to the federal workforce. You mentioned you're interested in doing another round of this email. When would you like to see that? What would be the deadline? And this time, would it be mandatory?
I think Elon wants to, and I think it's a good idea because, you know, those people, as I said before, they're on the bubble. You got a lot of people that have not responded, so we're trying to figure out, do they exist? Who are they? And it's possible that a lot of those people will be actually fired. And if that happened, that's okay, because that's what we're trying to do. This country has gotten bloated and fat and disgusting and incompetently run. I think we had the worst president in the history of our country. He just left office. I think he's a disgrace, what he's done to our country by allowing millions of people to come into our country like that. And all of the other things, the inflation, which he caused because of energy and stupid spending, to spend hundreds of millions, trillions and trillions of dollars on the Green New scam, a total scam. I have the best energy people, the best environmental people in the world around this table, and they can't even believe he got away with it. And then in leaving office to send $20 billion here and $20 million there and 10 million and 5 million, and they couldn't spend the money fast enough, and let's get it out before Trump gets in, let's just get it out to anybody. This is a disgrace to our nation, and you don't write the fair thing, but look, you know, the good news, the people see it, and that's why we won the election by so much. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I'll right back here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pulitzer Prize.
Sir, how many peacekeepers are you going to send there?
What will you do? How will you dress? Lawrence, look at Lawrence. This guy's making a fortune. He never had it so good. Lawrence, say we did a great job, please. Okay? Say it was unbelievable.
It's always great to see President Trump just even joking around with some of the press there on the way out. What an awesome moment there that the HUD Secretary, Scott Turner, opens up the cabinet meeting with a prayer. Awesome to see that. And quite some time there taking questions from the press. Elon Musk standing nearby. Talk about an all-star cast of patriots there at the cabinet room of the White House. That's the first cabinet meeting of President Trump's second administration. So, of course, now what happens is the actual meat of everything, where they talk about all of the things at the different departments as we continue our live coverage. So before you guys go, we're going to talk about a great sponsor here. Before we do that, we're going to go to the Gulf of America, and we're going to have the first live interview, at least from what we're seeing, possibly the first live interview from the Gulf of America here shortly. Before we do that, let's go to Berna, a great sponsor here at the network. So freedom and security, of course, are the cornerstones of the American way. As you see on your screen, a number of great things there from Berna. Berna's commitment to safety is personal for every American. That's why we stand behind Berna's less lethal launchers. It's effective, easy to use, and most importantly, it's legal in all 50 states. No background checks and the ability to ship directly to your doorstop. So they ensure that safety is never out of reach. So they come in multiple colors, orange, black, and yellow. All you have to do is go to RSBN here by going to Berna.com/RSBN. So again, Berna.com/RSBN. All right, so it's about 10 minutes to 1 o'clock. Let's get ready to go to the Gulf of America live, as we are going to be joined by Adam Peterson, who is the owner of a great company there, the Gulf of America Outfitters. Adam, do you hear us out there on the Gulf?
Hey, I got you, man.
That's great. And you're using Starlink, aren't you?
We grabbed a couple tuna this morning, and everything's awesome out here, man.
That's awesome.
People everywhere.
That's really awesome. So tell us about Gulf of America Outfitters. What's the genesis of how that name started, and what year did that start? And then your thoughts about President Trump officially naming it the Gulf of America.
Yeah, sure thing. So we named as branded as Gulf of America Outfitters back in December of 2022. We really got our brand launched in early 2023, and have been Gulf of America Outfitters for going on our third year, or make 3 years here in a couple weeks. So it's been amazing here the last couple months with President Trump renaming the Gulf to the Gulf of America, which obviously we feel like it should have been for a long time. And I mean, it's been amazing for business. We put out some articles this week that, our business in February, year-over-year business increase in February is up 553% from last year. So a significant increase in business. The amount of people that are coming down, the amount of people that want to get out on the Gulf, there's so much excitement around it, and we're just excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. This might be the first live interview in history for the Gulf of America. I looked online, I saw a few maybe radio reports and some online stuff, but it's kind of cool to do this here with you, Adam. So this is Adam Peterson again with the Gulf of America Outfitters. Tell us more about what services you provide to the American people there and any tourists. And also, do you have a bunch of gear like hats and T-shirts and all that?
Yeah, for sure. So we provide offshore and inshore fishing excursions out of Venice, Louisiana, Fouchon, Louisiana, and soon to be Lake Charles, Louisiana. We run 37 Freemans made right here in America. Obviously good friends with President Trump as they put one on the White House lawn back in like 18 or 19. So we're just super excited to be a part of that. And when you talk about bringing tourists down here, it's funny because right now on the boat, I have folks from South Florida. I have folks from Houston, guys from South Texas. So we kind of put a crew together to come out here today and catch some of these fish. But the folks that are coming to it are from all over the country. And it's amazing that we're able to kind of share this piece of Louisiana, the Gulf of America, with the general public in the U.S. And it's just super exciting all the way around. If you want to check out our gear or come down here and get on one of these fine boats, you check us out at GoAmericaOutfitters.com, or you can just Google search Gulf of America Outfitters. We'll pop up right there on the top. So just so excited to be a part of all of this.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I was just doing some research, how everybody was looking on Apple Maps and Google Maps the other day, a few weeks back, and we were typing in Gulf of Mexico and seeing if it would come up as Gulf of America. And that's how I came across your business. And I was like, wow, there's a business called Gulf of America Outfitters. It's awesome. Question for you. The people that are on your boat, I'm putting you on the spot, are they Trump supporters by chance?
I believe so. I don't want to speak to everybody, but I'm pretty sure, I feel confident that we have a lot of Trump supporters on the boat. Obviously down here on the coast, and the amount of oil field workers and guys that work in the Gulf, and these folks from around the Houston area, around South Florida. We're all big in protecting this environment, and that usually comes with voting red and being a big Trump supporter.
That's awesome. And last question, one more putting you on the spot question. Is there anybody there, if you want to ask them real quick, just would they want to come on and talk about Gulf of America, talk about President Trump at all?
I'm looking around. I'm seeing if anybody's. You might want to come talk about how President Trump has affected the Gulf of America. I'm looking. I'm getting a lot of head shakes. Nobody wants to step up to the mic right now, but I'll definitely give you a live scan of us bringing up. We got one hooked in, and we're kind of working it in nice and slow right now. There's Captain Chad. We're just out here doing our thing, man. I'd love to get somebody to jump on, but I'm having a hard time to get somebody to come in and say something about the Gulf.
Well, what about the Captain Chad?
Oh, I got you somebody.
All right, here we go.
I got you somebody. It's our good friend James Hardesty.
James Hardesty from St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. I came up here to fish with Gulf of America Outfitters because these guys, they represent everything the United States stands for: freedom, fun, having a good time. The hospitality has been second to none. That goes without saying. When you got good people, you got a beautiful Gulf here full of fish. Yesterday, these guys put me on my very first swordfish, 170-pounder. I'm very grateful to you guys. Thanks very much, man. That was absolutely awesome. So thank you. Thank you to Chad, the captain. Come on down here. Spend your money. It's well spent. The accommodations have been fabulous. The hospitality has been awesome. The food has been unbelievable. So, it goes without saying. So thank you again. Thank you, Chad.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That was awesome. That was great. On the fly here, out there live. Do you have any of the amazing swordfish or any fish that we could see that you guys have caught yet, or are you guys still just?
No, man, we're working. We're just getting out. We had a kind of a foggy morning, so we got out kind of late, and we spent a little bit of time trying to get the Starlink set up on the boat this morning. It was our first time putting it on here, so we kind of got a late jump, and we're just getting going. So hopefully we got one coming up, and but we'll be out here all day, and I'll make sure that you guys get some pictures of whatever we do bring in today.
Adam, I said I was going to put you on the spot only 2 times. Here's the third one. Can we do an RSBN live report from that boat?
Yeah, when you're ready.
Hey, I'll be there tomorrow.
Let's go. We'll be here. Just let me know, man. We'd love to have you guys come out here, and we love having the cameras on the boat, and we love showing the whole country and the world, what the Gulf of America has to offer, what South Louisiana has to offer, whether it's from the food, accommodations, all the way to the giant fish we catch, and how cool of a fishery this is.
Awesome. Adam Peterson with Gulf of America Outfitters. Sir, thank you so much for joining us and taking your time. Enjoy being out there in the beautiful Gulf.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having us.
Definitely. So quite awesome there, 12:57 Eastern, as you see that great boat there and just some great people as we get ready for our programming back here live in the studio. So again, that was out there on the Gulf of America. It's Gulf of America Outfitters. A lot of great things on their site, and it looks really nice out there, doesn't it? And a shout out to our crew here at the network to be able to get everything up and running for that live shot there from the Gulf, which may be the first live interview on the actual Gulf of America. Who knows? But it's still pretty cool. It's great to see it. And of course, you just watched the entire cabinet meeting there, at least the beginning part of it. And you can always watch that in replay here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, on Rumble, on YouTube, wherever you're watching right now. So great to see that. Also later today, as of right now, we are confirmed to have the actor Kevin Sorbo join us. We'll have that around 2 o'clock. If we're not live at that time, we'll record the interview and air it here in the near future. So thank you guys so much for watching Right Side Broadcasting Network. Let's thank a number of our sponsors as well. Colonial Metals Group. All you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN. I want to thank them for being an awesome sponsor here at the network. Of course, gold and silver, always high value. Let's move on now to our next sponsor, RepublicanRed.com. You can see there, you can use the RSBN promo code for quite a good discount there for some great wine as well. So go to RepublicanRed.com. Also, we'd like to thank Tax Network USA. 800-357-1415 is the number. TNUSA.com/RSBN. Let's go now to Brightcore, mybrightcore.com. Kimchi One, the great product that you see on your screen. mybrightcore.com/RSBN. Buy two, get one free. Let's pivot now to American Financing. All you do is go to AmericanFinancing.net. You might be able to save upwards of an average of $800 per month there, whether you're refinancing or looking for a home loan. A great group of people there at American Financing, AmericanFinancing.net. All right, let's go now to PatriotAddictDeals.com, PatriotAddictDeals.com. A lot of great products on there, showcasing right now the Trump Combat Knife. You can get 30% off, RSBN 30 for that. And also, let's shift now to Angel Paste. AngelPaste.com. You can get the RSBN promo code and use it for this great product out of Spring, Texas. AngelPaste.com. One more sponsor for you, maybe a few more, and we're thankful for all these great sponsors here at the network. Let's go to Byrna.com/RSBN. That's a less lethal launcher. You see all of the great information at the bottom of your screen. It's not classified as a firearm. It's legal in all 50 states. And also, the people at Byrna, they love 2A, right? They love the second amendment there. But they also say, you know what? Most of the things that happen out there, you most likely don't need to go with deadly force. So have something in the in-between, and that's that less lethal product there. So it's Byrna.com/RSBN. And finally, let's go with MyPillow.com/RSBN. Upwards of more than 2,000 products on MyPillow, so check it out if you'd like. MyPillow.com/RSBN. If you'd like to donate to Right Side, all you do is text RSBN to 801-801. So just text RSBN to 801-801. We also have that newsletter for you, RSBNetwork.com/newsletter. All right, that was a lot, but it's all worth it because we have great sponsors here at the network. You're looking live, of course, at the White House today. An all-star cast of patriots meeting around President Trump for that cabinet meeting, the first of its kind for this second administration. So glad you chose Right Side Broadcasting Network. This is RSBN Live. Robert McNeely will be in the studio a bit later as we monitor any breaking news around whether it's D.C. or outside the Beltway. For all of us at RSBN, I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Families across the nation have arrived at a heartbreaking crossroad.
to surrender their beloved animals at alarming rates due to inflation and soaring costs of living.
There are so many overcrowded shelters. So many dogs need a home, but it's all of us working together to solve this crisis.
This fight requires both doers and dollars. Join us at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. Please sign up today.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.